All for you. Hey y'all, long time no see. How y'all doing? Is it hot where y'all are at? Cause I am hot. It's burning up here. Hey Savage, I'm feeling kind of savage tonight. Hey Oro, Diggable Planet, what's up? Indigo, what's up? Diggable Planet. We got Dr. Ken up in the house. Diggable Planet, that's right. Like Indigo said, hit that like button on your way in. That's what I'm talking about. All right, we got Abu up in the house. What's up? Hey, Inquiring Mind, another Diggable Planet. All the Diggable Planets showing up early. That's what's up. Hey, New Eyes, how you doing? Who else we got up in here? Open 642, KE. Oh, I love you too. We got Mia Love up in the house. What's up, Earth Angel? So yeah, we're not going to tarry too long. We're going to get straight into this, but I did want to talk about some current events. So y'all let me know what's currently going on because I didn't get a chance to research the current events, but I know some things have been happening lately. So if y'all want me to discuss something that's currently going down, let me know. Like, let me know now before I get into this Gemini hot mess of a situation. Hey, Angela. Hey, Cherry Bell. Two more Diggable Planets showed up. Hey, King of Wands. King of Wands, what did you send me? Oh, that's right. You sent me the spirit box. I got to respond to that email. I was like, catch a load of this. I'm kind of skeptical about that spirit box stuff, but I don't know. Maybe there's some truth to it. Yeah. Hey, Andre, how you doing? How's everybody doing this Gemini season? Shout out to all the Geminis. Happy birthday to y'all. Oh, I'm not going to drag y'all too bad. That's why I'm going to have a whole separate live stream for the bright side of Gemini. Because I'm like, y'all deserve two separate videos because y'all are like two separate people. So, yeah, I'm gonna do y'all some justice. Very much so. But first, we're going to get into the dark side because you know that's how I roll. You know, I love. See, Lisa said drag us. Yeah, a lot of y'all do like to be dragged, especially in the bedroom. Hmm. But anyway, yeah, tonight is going to be about the dark side of Gemini, and I have it in a gradient format, like in terms of the celebrities and famous people that I'm going to be using. So it's going to be like on the lighter end of the dark spectrum, going all the way to the darkest of the dark. So hopefully y'all will enjoy this. But yeah, and make no mistake, Gemini is one of my favorite signs. I get along very well with a lot of Geminis. I got Mars in Gemini myself. So I really identify with that Gemini energy. And the way I utilize my Gemini energy, y'all know I could talk for hours. Um, I've had those marathon live streams. Um, Also, I write a lot, and that's why I haven't been on YouTube lately because I have a lot of written natal chart reports to do and I can't stay on too long tonight because I got to finish up one and then I got to jump right into another one. So I got like six natal charts to do back to back. That's why if you don't see me too often over the next couple of weeks, that's why. But that's very Gemini. Also, I have a lot of nervous energy, and that's my Mars and Gemini. I have this whole mental restlessness, and my thoughts be racing and stuff, and I got the anxiety with me and all that type of stuff. And to make matters worse, it's in my sixth house. So that's why I have to pick and choose because there's this one side of me that could be on YouTube and be all keying and like whooping it up with y'all. And then there's this other side that got to get into the work and like do the writing and stuff. And sometimes I'd be all like, damn, I want to, because this to me is the fun part. This is my recreation part. Even though I do be doing some work, it's all fun. The writing part, that's where I'd be like, oh, I feel like a kid doing homework and I feel like I can't go outside and play until my homework is done. So yeah, which is very Mars and Gemini, that train of thought. So yeah, I get along very well with Geminis. A lot of my coworkers over the years have been Geminis. It's always between like Gemini and Libra. So when I used to be employed, the jobs I've had, a lot of times the coworker right next to me, that I would get along real well was either a Gemini or a Libra, which makes sense because my Mars is in Gemini, my Venus is in Libra. So that's that. But yeah, is anybody talking about any current events? Hey Beverly, how you doing? Hey Siobhan. Got another predictable planet up in the house. So Andre said I'm doing good, bought me some Moldavite, and it's really addressing my toxic traits as well as pushing me to lose some weight. Well, that's good. That can also help you to attract some money too. Angela said Gemini Moon and North Node. I love a good drag. I know you do. Uh-huh. So what's been going on? I know some crazy stuff has gone down since we last got together. So what has been in the news? I can't seem to think of anything. But one of the things I heard is that Biden is mentally deteriorating even more, which makes sense because at the end of last month, the Scorpio South Node was right on his Mercury. So it makes sense that he's deteriorating even more. Now, somebody else mentioned this Young Miami situation and P. Diddy. So let me just pull up a picture of this Young Miami. And I'm kind of confused as to what's going on with this situation. I haven't been following it. So, okay, this is Young Miami. Let me pull up a picture of her. How old is this female? Does anybody know how old she is? And what's her sign? So that apparently is Young Miami. Let me just pull this story up. Yes, I got plenty of air though. I got, like I said, I got Venus and Libra. I got Mars and Gemini. That's enough air for me. That's all the air I need. What I'm kind of missing is the water. We can touch the water. Bitch, I walk on top of water. All right, Young Miami and P. Diddy. That's what I'm looking for. I need to find out the scoop about these two. I don't think I ever heard any of her songs. Somebody says she's 28. So, okay, so she's 28. Okay. So it says Diddy finally confirms he's dating City Girls. Oh, so she's from that group City Girls. Okay. City Girls rapper Young Miami. People can finally stop speculating about Diddy and Young Miami. During the premiere episode of Revolt TV's latest podcast, Carisha Please, the City Girls rapper interrogated the Bad Boys Records mogul about their relationship. Diddy finally confirmed, yes, they are dating, but he's maintained he's a single man. She better watch out because Diddy has been known to go upside a woman's head. Just ask Kim Porter. Oops, but Kim Porter is not here no more. I wonder how that happened. But anyway, this girl better be careful. She said, we go have dates. We're friends. We go to exotic locations. We have great times, he said. Wait a minute. Did anybody tell me what her sign is? What's her sign? Okay, so she's a Pisces. Oh, no. So February 11th, she's an Aquarius. Okay. Aquarius and Scorpio, that could be quite catastrophic when things go bad. But I will say, she ain't going back down when it comes to him. Like she can bring it to him like he can bring it to her. Those are two signs that really can give each other the run for the money. She said, we got to strip clubs, church. I'm going to take you to church. Oh, no, he said, we go have dates. He's still kind of semi-illiterate, it seems. He said, we go have dates. We're friends. We go to exotic locations. We have great times, he said. We got to strip clubs. We got to strip clubs, church. I'm going to take you to church. Young Miami also asked him to define their relationship, to which he replied, we date. We're dating. But he's maintained he's simply enjoying the company of women while calling Young Miami one of the realest people he's ever met. Young Miami has repeatedly denied being in a romantic relationship with the Bad Boy Records mogul, despite immense displays of PDA over the last several months. In a December 2021 interview with the WGCI morning show, Young Miami was asked if she and Diddy were an item, to which she firmly replied no. But at the Coachella Valley Arts and Music Festival last month, Diddy reignited the rumors. While enjoying the VIP treatment, he uploaded a video of himself dancing to the City Girls set with the caption, "At City Girls, let's go." He was nothing but supportive as City Girls hyped up the crowd, once again causing fans to speculate on the status of his relationship with the 28-year-old artist. More recently, Young Miami. Do I have to go on? Like, this is boring. Okay. So basically, I guess they're dating, right? Um, Let me get this girl's birthday because I guess y'all care about this situation. I really don't. So, Young Miami. He Diddy just trying to hold on to whatever youth he has left. That's all. Oh, wow. He's my oldest daughter's age. February 11th, 1994. I mean, she is. So February 11th, 1990. This makes me feel old. Damn. February 11th, 1994. That means he has at least one kid that's her age or a little older, right? Because when did he have Justin? Talking about female, where was she born? So she was born Miami, Florida. She looked like a Miami chick. Okay, so that's why she's Young Miami. Let me see if they have the time of birth for this chick. All right, let's see. Nope, I don't see it. And I don't got time to be looking for it. All right, so let's see. So she has North Node conjoined to Pluto in Scorpio. So she's, destined to be with somebody like P. Diddy, him being a Scorpio and that Svengali type of character. Let me just pull up P. Diddy's chart. All right, here he go. All right. So her North Node and Pluto are on his Neptune. So maybe he felt necessary to come clean around this time because maybe she threatened to expose his secrets with that hookup. But she definitely has, knows a lot of his secrets at this point. So he might feel like he has no choice but to give her some of what she wants. That can also deal with the music connection. And let me see, her Jupiter is on his sun. So they probably have lots of sex and the type of sex he really likes. But that can also deal with she has the ability to expose him to blow his spot wide open in a number of ways. So yeah, he better, treat her right. Her Mars is squaring his sun. That's like a disloyalty aspect because her Mars is in Aquarius, squaring. I mean, that's a tight square too, both at the 11th degree. And that could deal with where she starts seeing some, hey, Tiffany card, where she starts seeing some dude on the side. I would think P. Diddy got issues with getting it up and keeping it up. He just has that look. You know what I mean? He got that look on his face that looks like he struggles in that area. And she's a young woman. So I wouldn't be surprised if, she ain't getting, satisfied like he's getting satisfied. And he might like sex a certain type of way and maybe she's not getting fulfilled. But that could deal with where she even, tries to assault him at some point. Do I say he has hips? Well, he's just not a. I don't know. Some women think he's hot. I never saw that in him. Hey, Red Bunny, another diggable plate up in the house. But that Mars square sun, that's not a good aspect for synastry. That could deal with where a lot of times they're going at it. And then let me see what else is going on. Her sun and Venus is squaring his Neptune. So that's basically looks like she probably gave him an ultimatum like that. Well, if you don't come out and say that we're a couple, because before he was probably telling her, if somebody asked, just say no. But then she probably got tired of it, and she probably gave him an ultimatum like Aquarius is prone to do. And she was probably like, "Look, if you don't, let me know. I mean, let it be known that we're together. I'm gonna spill some of your tea." So let me see what's going on. Her Chiron's on his moon. Mm. And it's in Virgo. That's kind of strange. That could deal with where they're in a strange relationship where he can be really submissive with her. You think she's probably trying to get pregnant by him? Conservative said she gets an allowance so she could go spend her money and buy a big giant dildo if she's not satisfied. But that's not it's not as good as the real thing. Come on now. I'm sorry, nothing can compare to the real thing. To be real. Ellie said, doesn't young Miami already have a child? I don't know. Who knows? But I just don't see this being a good situation for either of them. I'm seeing like power plays. I'm seeing situations where there could be sexual incompatibility. Her Mars is squaring his Saturn. So there could be certain types of sex she wants that he's not giving her. Probably especially in terms of cunnilingus. He looked like the type that don't even know what he's doing down there anyway. He's too busy trying to get his little hole rimmed. So yeah, I could see him not being really that great of a lover. I'm not seeing it. But yeah, so that's that. But do we have any other current events before I get into this Gemini situation? Wait a minute, you said, oh my God, can we talk about the Chrisleys, Nick Cannon, Money Bath Gang? Now, I don't know who the hell the Chrisleys are. I know who Nick Cannon is. Now, did Nick Cannon have another baby? What baby is he on now? Is this baby number 8, baby number 9? And then you said Money Bath Gang. I never heard of these people. But yeah, I think Nick Cannon is in the news, isn't he? I mean, when isn't he in the news? You said her second baby daddy was very disrespectful. Who's her second baby daddy? You said Meg the Stallion. Who shot her? Oh, me and Hood Astro Queen. We were talking about this Meg the Stallion situation, and we were both after she put me on to some of the details because I really haven't followed the story either. But after she put me on to some of the details, I was like, maybe it was a situation where the friend actually did it, the girlfriend by accident, and they're blaming it on what's that guy's name? Damn, y'all make me feel old. What's that dude's name that she was blaming it on? Y'all know who I'm talking about. My mind ain't right tonight. Four ladies are pregnant right now for Nick Cannon. Stop playing. Siobhan said we might all be pregnant by Nick Cannon. I know I'm not. Tory Lanez, that's his name. Yeah, Tory Lanez. Yeah, Nick Cannon is like going nuts, but maybe he's not going to live soon. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Cannon didn't live that much longer, or maybe he has about 10 years left because maybe that's why he's so bent upon spreading his seed everywhere, because he don't have much time left. I mean, he does look real sickly all the time. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, just unconsciously he knows that His time is limited. He don't got much time. You said he's a producer named Suicide. So Tory Lanez has been hanging out with Madonna. Wow. Madonna, her old ass, she still won't slow down, but that's very Leo, ain't it? You got a lot of Leo older women that still think they got it, still trying to catch a man, all that type of stuff. Ellie, oh, speaking of that, y'all hear about you know how before there was the guy that was on Iyanla and he had like 20 something children. Well, now there's a new guy, and I'm going to play a clip. There's a new guy. He's 33 and he got 34 children. And his whole motto is, I don't pull out. Like somebody was like, sir, wow, how did you do it? How did you have 34 kids and you're only 33 years old? And he was like, I don't pull out. You hear what I'm saying? My pull out game ain't weak. I don't pull out. So I'm gonna play this clip right here because y'all gotta see this. If y'all haven't seen it, y'all gotta see it. So give me a minute. Let me pull it up. Man has 33 kids. Let me see. Okay, here it go. I'm not gonna choose that one because I might get a strike because you know how some people can be. All right, where is the one where? Okay, we'll do this one.
That game, mate. Pull out game, man. I just don't pull out, bitch. What you motherfuckers that want to know? I don't pull out.
Hold up, daddy. Hold up. I'm not ready. Don't pull out just yet. Hold on. He said I don't pull out. Now, let me just frame this for you. So he's basically mad because I guess he had a picture with all his kids. Well, it was like 29 of them kids, and some kids were missing or whatever. And people was criticizing him, talking about why you got all these kids and you only 33 years old. So here's his clapback, and he's basically all saying like, yeah, y'all don't got money. Like, I got money to take care of all these kids. Mind you, he's a truck driver, so you ain't taking care of all those kids on a truck driver salary. But anyway, this is his response to all the flack he's getting about having so many kids and he's only 33. And he's semi-illiterate, so it's pretty sad. All right.
It ain't weak, motherfucker. I don't pull out. That's not my motherfucker, kid. You niggas got 3 or 4 and don't do a motherfucking thing. Ain't shit weak over here. My pockets ain't weak, my dick so ain't weak, bitch ass nigga. You pussy ass nigga sitting there talking. I ain't got a motherfucking dollar in your pocket. I ain't got a dollar in your motherfucking pocket. I ain't got a dollar in your motherfucking pocket. But you wanna talk that shit. I'm still that nigga with 30. I'm still that nigga with 30. I'm still that nigga with 30. Fuck you mean, bitch. I'm still that nigga. When you get like me, then you gonna fuck with me, bitch. That's all I got. Quit trying to run behind because you fuckers.
All right, now that's baby daddy of the year, I guess. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, y'all missed the part where he was saying I don't pull out, but that's his secret. That's how he has all these kids. He said he don't pull out. Yeah, but I mean, that's sad. I feel sorry for those kids. I really do. Wow. But anyway, let's get into this Gemini situation. So let me pull up a picture of a Gemini so we can set this shit off right. Set it off on the left, y'all. Set it off on the right, y'all. Set it off. Come on, let's set it off. Set it off on the left, y'all. Set it off on the right, y'all. Set it off. Come on, let's set it off. All right, let me share my screen. On the left, on the right, on the left, I suggest while we left started. All right. So here's a perfect representation of a dark-sided Gemini. And they start off dark-sided. I mean, they dark-sided in the womb a lot of times, these Geminis. The moms can feel it when they're carrying these little bad seeds. But here's a perfect example of a bad seed, little Gemini. If anybody's seen this movie, or if you haven't seen this movie, this is Damien. And Damien is basically the devil's son, come to take over the world. This is a clip from the movie The Omen, and Damien was born on June 6th. Now they don't specify the year, but basically he was a little devilish child and he created a lot of havoc. And to make the long story short, some people died in the process because they were trying to stop Damien. And he ended up carrying on, and he grew up to be an adult because there's The Omen 1, 2, 3. I love The Omen 1 and 2. Um, 3, I think I saw a little bit of, but yeah, Omen 1 and 2 is real good. There's a lot of truth to these movies. But anyway, little Damien being a Gemini, that's the perfect sign for being the devil's son, because Gemini is basically dealing with the conscious mind. And that conscious mind can either go to the left or the right. Also, Gemini has that dual personality. So, he can play the little nice little sweet boy on one hand, and then on the other hand, he could do the devil's work. That's why I call tonight's video the devil's minions when we're talking about dark-sided Gemini. So, Siobhan, you said part 3 was lackluster. Yeah, we should do The Omen for a watch party. Maybe we will do The Omen 1 and 2 before Gemini season ends for Patreon. And yeah, I'm gonna be posting more content on Patreon. We're gonna be doing more watch parties and stuff. So if you would like to join Patreon, it's in the description section of this video. But what I'm getting at, though, it's quite interesting that Damien is a Gemini. And like I said, that's quite fitting. That's right. Indigo got a birthday coming up. Isn't your birthday on the 18th? And we got somebody with June 18th on my list, I think. Yeah, more about that in a minute. But yeah, so now the actor that played Damien, I don't know what his sign is, but they said that he was a badass. Like, he was hard to control on the set. He was causing all these problems, biting people, hitting people, talking shit, all this stuff. And Gemini from an early age, yes, June 18th, that's right, that solid 18th. See, Indigo, you got to make that money. Even if you got you got to be a little ruthless with it, because that's how you got to do with that 18. You might have to throw some bows and step on a few toes, but if that's what you need to do to make it to, no, I'm just playing. But 18 could be a struggle with money, struggle with your relationships, family, all that shit. But more about that in a minute. But yes, happy birthday in advance. Happy birthday to all the Geminis. But yeah, so Damien being a Gemini, perfect for being the devil's son, one of the devil's minions. And again, Gemini is that conscious mind where all it takes is for you to feed it a lot of negative information, feed it some demonic information, feed it these suggestions that will cause somebody to do evil. If you don't program that mind, and I'm talking about everybody, but Gemini rules the conscious mind, but this is true for everybody. This is why when you're a little child, it's so important. Your formative years. Gemini is very much dealing with your formative years, those early signs, period. So these formative years are so important for a child's development. So if a child grows up around a bunch of negativity, around a bunch of crime, around a bunch of sex or what have you, and they got strong Gemini energy, they will be prone to go to the left if they don't have something that's going to pull them to the other side. Sometimes all it takes is a good teacher, like that one teacher in school that basically takes that student under their wing and, gives them some positive books to read, gives them that positive reinforcement for them to be able to counteract the negativity that could be You said for, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that Cash App. Blay. I know who you are. But yeah, thank you so much. You said for a cold root beer. That's what's up. Thank you. And I got some chilling in my fridge. And but yeah, what was I saying? But yeah, this is true for all kids, of course. But Gemini is one of those signs though where they could be very much open to suggestion. And that's why Gemini and Scorpio, they tend to be attracted to each other. But more about that in a minute. But that's one of the problems that comes with Gemini is just that open-mindedness. Sometimes the mind is too open, and in that respect, it is prone to basically do what it's commanded to do from whoever. Here's another example. Rosemary's Baby. Some of y'all might have saw this movie, but Rosemary's Baby, she was carrying the son of Satan. Same kind of story. And guess what? The baby's due date was June 6th, 1966. Of course, that would be 666, the devil's number. But another Gemini little devilish demonic baby. So, do you think this is a coincidence? Now, of course, they're going for the 666 theme because even in the Omen, Damien was born June 6th at 6 a.m. So they had to make sure they get the 666 theme in there. The number of the beast, number of the devil, and all that type of stuff. You just cut your hair like that, Fabiola. I like that little pixie haircut. But yeah. So both of these little demon devilish babies are Gemini. So I just wanted to start that off. Now, we have to go way, way back if we want to talk about the dark side of Gemini, or I'll say the potential for Gemini to lean towards the dark side if they don't have that positive influence in their life and if that positive influence isn't very strong. So we have to go all the way back to the beginning of time or humanity, or at least the way the Bible tells it. So I'm referring to the Adam and Eve story, the creation story. Whether you want to believe it or not, there's still a lot to be learned and to be gained from, reading these Bible stories and dissecting them and things like that. So the Adam and Eve story really is a story of Gemini. And that's why in tarot, the Lovers card is a Gemini card, and the Lovers is representing Adam and Eve, the first humans supposedly that walked the earth. So Gemini opposes Sagittarius, right? And Sagittarius, that's the Godhead, or you could say that's the divine, that's the Almighty, that's God, the God force, heaven even. You can even say that Sagittarius is representing the Garden of Eden even. So man and woman are created, and now they have a mind that's separate from God, even though they've been given these commandments by God, or they've been given these caveats by God, like you can eat of all the trees of the Garden of Eden except for this one tree. The tree of what? The tree of knowledge and of good and evil. That's the one tree you couldn't eat from. And I always say that tree of knowledge of good and evil, and the serpent that tempted Eve, that's representing Aquarius. But Adam and Eve is representing Gemini. And you see how the serpent was able to tempt Eve and cause her to go against what God told her to do. And that's the essence of Gemini. Because now they no longer have a mind of God. They have their own minds. And now they can be swayed from the left or to the right. And that whole saying, once they ate of that fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, their eyes became open. Not in the literal sense, but in the figurative sense, their eyes became open in that they were aware of not just the goodness, but also the potential to do evil, and how some of this evil could actually be pleasurable. So that's the whole essence of that Adam and Eve. It's basically dealing with that Gemini Sagittarius opposition, and how the mind, when it strays away from God or it doesn't even have to be God, when it strays away from universal truth, or when it strays away from some type of divinity, it's so easy for it to go to the left. And what's so interesting, I always think that term, the left, is so interesting because they use it for politics. They have the left, they have the right. The lefts are like liberals, the right is like conservative, Republican, left being liberal, like Democrat. And why does it seem like the left always takes things too far when it comes to being liberated? Like we see this happening now where a lot of people are starting to complain about leftists because some of their ideals are just off the wall and just totally like just hogwash even. So that left is also known as the left-hand path, or you could call the left-hand path black magic, or the form of magic where it's basically the intention is to do harm or to do evil or to use some type of undivine, or for lack of a better word, unholy means to accomplish an objective. So the left-hand path, leftists, also even in astrology, the term left, the old term was sinister. Sinister means left. And you know, sinister is basically something that's evil. So again, when we're talking about Gemini, that's just the conscious mind, period. That's like having a bucket. And now that bucket can be filled with anything. It could be filled with goodness, or it could be filled with filth. And, you know, the mind, the human mind, it just seems like it's inclined towards mischief, doesn't it? If you don't believe so, just look at a little 2-year-old, or even before they turn 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds. You can see when they're about to like do something where they know it's wrong, because they'll look at you and have that little sly smirk on their face, or you know, they'll look at you in this defiant manner. Cats and dogs do that shit with you too. Like they know they're about to do something wrong. They'll give you that look and you'll know, oh boy, they're about to do some shit. It just seems like the human mind, but even animals at times, like it's just inclined to go left, which is why you do need some type of belief system, some type of moral code, some type of ethics that will keep you on the right side. And maybe not totally to the right, maybe somewhat in the middle, but where you're still kind of leaning towards the right. That's where religion comes in, but we know religion can be just as bad. So there's always a possibility of going to the extreme, whether it's to the religious extreme or whether it's to the totally liberated extreme where anything goes. And you know, that's a slippery slope. Either way, it could be bad. But with Gemini, it could be especially bad because the mind knows no bounds in terms of what it will accept. And the mind will also compartmentalize, which is another scary thing. And this is how people end up developing like the multiple personality disorder, or the dissociative identity disorder, where the mind becomes fragmented due to trauma. And now the mind starts to compartmentalize certain like experiences and memories and shit. And it only comes out at certain times, or a whole new identity is created just so that they can handle that type of trauma. Like the mind is something else. It's amazing, but it can also be scary at the same time. Again, take a little kid and from an early age, like these psychiatrists from back in the day, that's why they were doing all these experiments. They weren't just experimenting on lab rats and monkeys. They were experimenting on humans back in the day. And I think they still are. And a lot of times the experiments now are just with these prescription drugs, and they're just observing how people have just declined, like seriously, mentally and emotionally. And a lot of this does, I believe, have to do with a lot of these prescription pills, these psych meds and stuff. People are going nuts nowadays. But the mind is nothing to play around with. And yeah, if you get a kid early enough, you can totally convince that kid that there's something that they're totally not. Number one, we have this epidemic, I might as well say, where, they're trying to convince a lot of children that they're transgender before they're even thinking about that shit themselves. So that's one of the ways that it's like this shit is getting out of hand. You put certain thoughts into a child's head, don't be surprised if they start going along with that train of thought. I mean, and they act like it's not possible. You can get kids to believe anything just about. And again, that's the dangerous part about it all. So, some more negative traits of Gemini. So, immorality. And I already kind of talked about this with Sagittarius being the sign of morality. And I'm not saying that Sagittarius is without flaws and without fault. I'm not saying that at all, but it's freaking that. Sagittarius does deal with morality. And with Gemini being the opposite, Gemini is devoid of immorality because, again, if you take this from a purely astrological perspective, and you might as well throw in their scientific perspective, Gemini is a sign that just deals with the mind itself. So the mind is not refined where it's going to have morals and ethics automatically. This is why, again, if you leave a little 1-year-old or a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old to their own devices, usually they're going to get into trouble more often than not. Usually they're going to create some type of havoc. Rarely are you going to, like, if you leave them to their own devices, rarely are you going to come home and see that everything's in place and they might have even cleaned up the place for you. That's not going to happen. Because, again, you're dealing with that mind that has not been shaped yet with morals, ethics, a code of honor, respect, decency, all that. So if a kid is not given that early on, yeah, they're going to be ruined. And it's going to be very hard to try to undo what has been done to them mentally. So unethical, that goes along with immorality. Gemini on the dark end can be disloyal, two-faced, of course. And when I say two-faced, it goes beyond, smiling in somebody's face and then acting like, talking shit about them or whatever. That two-facedness can literally be in some cases where the Gemini becomes somebody totally different, basically, when they're around other people, where they can really put on different hats. So on the dark end, you may never know who you're going to get when you're dealing with this Gemini character. On the dark end, that is. Also the backbiting, the gossiping, being insensitive, being intrusive. Truth is relative. So that's another thing that goes along with the whole immorality and things like that. With Gemini, you can basically have this discussion with them about what is really truth. And they might go back and forth with you and have your head all screwed up and spinning around because they done twisted things around to the point where you're really even considering their point of view. Like, damn, that does make a lot of sense. So truth is relative. It's very much according to the situation. Also, with Gemini, they can rationalize any behavior, the dark-sided Geminis. So it ain't nothing but a thing, and they might rationalize it in a way where they say, well, if nobody's getting hurt in the process, in their mind, if nobody's getting hurt in the process, they might think it's okay. And it could get dark with that. If nobody's getting hurt in the process, that could be even rationalizing sexual abuse. Because in their mind, they think that what they're doing should be pleasurable and it's not creating any hurt, it's not creating any trauma, it's not creating any damage. Because they think, oh, sex should be pleasurable, regardless of the age. And y'all might have heard this saying about Gemini too. Gemini will try anything once. And some of them are very much like that, the ones on the dark side. Again, that mind is very open to suggestion. So you got to be careful what you put into it. Also, can be very crafty, can be very clever. And that's one of the dangerous things about them too, because a lot of Geminis are very smart. A lot of them have street smarts. I do call dark-sided Gemini the thug of the zodiac. Henry Hill, perfect example. The dude that the movie Goodfellas was based on, he was a true character. He was a true person, real life person. He was a Gemini, and he basically was a thug. Yeah, he was working with, the mob and all that, but, he wasn't of the mob because he wasn't fully Italian. So basically, he was just your average thug that was making a lot of money. Also, lacking emotionality and empathy. So some Geminis just don't have that empathy towards people. And they can have this flippant devil may care attitude. Like somebody is hurt and they just might not even, bat an eye about it. It might only be people that they're close to that they only care about or what have you. And even in that situation, they could have got into a fight with a friend the day before. A friend gets hit by a car, and they're, still thinking about that argument and saying, well, if they would have never said this, they probably would have never got hit by that car. You know what I mean? Not even allowing bygones to be bygones, but just rationalizing why you still have issues with that person, even though you need to just let it go. But yeah, so like I said, I'm not going to be on long at all. So we're going to get into these celebrities now. And again, with my list, it's going to be from those that aren't that dark to the darkest. So some of these that I'm about to pull up, especially the early ones, y'all going to be like, they ain't dark sided, but just hear me out. And then you'll see what I mean when I talk about, yeah, they're on the dark side. But again, the first ones I'm about to show y'all are more on the light sided end, but they're still on the dark side, in my opinion. First up, does anybody know who this is? Jerry Bell said Lauryn Hill. You know what? I thought about adding Lauryn Hill. She's on the dark side in terms of her craziness. But I wasn't going to add her because I'm like, nah, she ain't dark like that. But does anybody know who this woman is? Yes, Kawhi and Love. That's yes. 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 Now remember, I said she on the light end of the dark spectrum, but she's still on the dark side. Why? Because she was instrumental in corrupting a lot of people's minds back in the day. Back in the day, people were still kind of prudish and stuff. Here come this old ass bag, talking about penis and vagina and all this type of stuff. And, we wasn't expecting old granny like that to be talking about sex and booty holes and all this type of stuff. But she was just, and she a freak, y'all, because she was born on the 4th. June 4th. I was like, oh yeah, she is straight up freak. Now, if she was so open, you know how I say she was so open in public about the sex thing. I wonder how she really was behind closed doors. She was probably really doing some crazy ass shit. She probably turned a lot of people out in Hollywood. People going to her for some therapy and shit. Next thing you know, they feeling her hands all over them and shit. Like, I'm just saying, she looked a little shady. That's all I'm saying. I don't care how old this lady is. And think about it. If she was that old back then talking about sex, back then when she was younger, that shit was like forbidden for a woman to be talking about sex and stuff. So for her to be all open with it, you already know. This chick has been around the block several times. Yeah. Probably used to be on that host role too. So let me just look in her chart real quick, and I'm going to tell you what makes her that sex therapist that she was. Okay, where you at, Dr. Ruth? And look, just because she had that, what was she? She German. Just because she had that German accent, they tried to make that shit acceptable back then. Because, she would have never been able to get away with that shit if she was American. Y'all already know what I'm talking about. But it was because she was German. And they was like, oh, yeah, the Germans, they are very, they're more open at sex than we are. So, and all that stuff. But yeah, if she was American, she would have never been able to get away with that shit back in the day. Had me, my tender age, I must have been like, 10 years old, looking at her on Phil Donahue or one of those shows, getting all hot and heated because she talking about penises and shit. And I'm just like, oh my God. Yeah. Corrupted mind, innocent mind. I'm just saying, she was part of that whole 80s sex craze thing. Remember the movies in the 80s? They're not as bad as they are now. But those movies in the 80s, especially like the teenage movies and stuff, remember how they was always pushing you to have sex. Like, for instance, the theme of the movies will always be, you're a virgin, ha 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 ha, you need to get laid. All of this stuff was by design. Now we're all sex to death. We're all sex freaks. And our children are even worse. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But yeah, this was the beginning. She was part of it. She was part of the whole sexual liberation movement, 80s style, basically. Yeah, corrupting households and shit, you know? And you thinking you watching like one of them talk shows, Donahue, Oprah back in the day. You don't think that you're gonna be hearing penis and vagina and stuff until this old bat gets on and starts opening her damn mouth. And Gemini don't have a filter, and she certainly didn't. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, them 80s movies corrupted me. I was watching 16 Candles the other night. And I love that movie with Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall. But it was so much about sex in that movie. Like, Anthony Michael Hall, he's only like 15 in the movie, and he's all down and in the dumps because he's still a virgin. I'm like, yo, like, this shit is crazy. They was really pushing the sex thing. No wonder why Generation X and the millennials are sex crazed, because they pushed it down our throats. Remember Jerry Springer? Remember what was the other one? Maury Povich. Maury was wild. Jerry Springer. Even Jenny Jones. Jenny Jones had some wild ass shit on there sometimes. All them damn shows, Weird Science, y'all, they built the chick with the boobs and all that stuff. And yeah, Indigo said, you ain't had to read old Ruth like that. Mama's still kicking her now. Oh, she's still alive? Well, you go ahead. Must have been all that good jizz that you've been swallowing for all these years. Didn't that Kardashian say that makes her healthy? Her doctor told her to be sipping on that jizzerp to make her healthy. Maybe Dr. Ruth been doing the same thing. Maybe we all need to take a sip. Cinemax After Dark. Yes, remember HBO Real Sex, the Taxi Cab Confessions? They threw that shit in our face nonstop. Hold on, Siobhan, you was watching 16 Candles. Ain't that just shit? I love 16 Candles. But yeah, they was all like, and then remember Long Duck Dong? That whole name, Long Duck Dong. Dong, penis. Long penis, basically. And remember he started wilding out, and he was with the girl with the big titties, and he was all like, now the place to put my hand. Yeah, that movie is crazy. And it has some racial shit in there too, because they was really feeding into the Asian stereotypes with Long Duck Dong. Dong. Yeah, all them shows, like, they corrupted us all, and Dr. Ruth was at the forefront of it. So yeah, she's first on my list. Yeah, I used to love Real Sex too. Yup. Remember, what was the other one? Red Shoe Diaries. Wasn't that Showtime? They had Red Shoe Diaries. Look, that's what I posted on Patreon today with the porn star and stuff. I was like, yeah, shows my mind was corrupted early on. The Disney movies with sexualized cartoons. Yup. They just fed us that stuff nonstop. Yup. But yeah, so let me get into the next person that's on my dark side of Gemini list. And remember right now, I'm talking about kind of on the light end, okay? I'm not talking about the real dark ones, so y'all don't start screaming when y'all see this next person. Come on now, y'all already know. Ice Cube been in the game for too long. You know he done sold his soul many years ago. And I remember one day I was looking at Ice Cube's chart, and I was like, he looked like a real, like, low down dude. He looked like he would stab somebody in the back real quick. And y'all remember when he came out with NWA, he was acting all hard, acting like he was gangster and stuff. But in reality, this man grew up in the semi-suburbs, or maybe it was I think he was lower middle class at least. He going to like a pretty decent prep school and stuff, predominantly white school and stuff. But yet he's posing like he's some hard gangster. Even when he went solo, he was pretty much acting like he was all like that gangster life and all that type of stuff. Yeah, studio gangster. And he just seems like, let me pull up his chart. I'm gonna tell you who he is. He's the type of person that he could have friends from back in the day, and like if a friend was homeless or something, he ain't gonna help them out. And I'll never forget his role in Players Club. He played a low down dirty dude in Players Club, and I remember saying that's who he really is in real life. I don't think he's that nice of a guy, especially with these squares that he has involving his Gemini energy. So let me just pull up his chart real quick and think about it. He might know the truth about Eazy-E's death. That's all I'm saying. I think all of them know the truth, but the ones that didn't say anything, they're still able to make a lot of money, Ice Cube included. The ones that did say some stuff, like Suge Knight, didn't Suge Knight say something about Eazy-E's death? And he's still locked up, isn't he? So Ice Cube has these squares between his Gemini sun. This is what I was looking at one day. He has these squares between his Gemini sun, his Pluto South Node, Jupiter, and Uranus. I was like, if that's not somebody that'll stab you in the back, if that's not somebody that, will try to put you in a position of submission, that will basically turn on you, that will basically denigrate you and discard you, especially the discarding part with that Sun Square Pluto. And I always say with Sun Square Pluto, death surrounds a person like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's got some work done for some of the people that he really doesn't particularly like or whatever. There was this story about him going to get, like how he treated the actors in the Friday movie. The first Friday, he didn't pay them a damn thing. Desiree said, also think about this. Most of the men actors in Players Club died, maybe sacrificed for Ice Cube. That is a good point, Desiree. Yes. Bernie Mac died. Michael Clark Duncan died. These are the ones in Players Club. Bernie Mac, Michael Clark Duncan. Who else was in Players Club and died? Charlie Murphy. Damn. You got a point. And then remember, didn't Ice Cube meet with Donald Trump or something like that? So remember when Ice Cube was starting to get involved in politics and stuff like that? Sometimes you got to watch these artists. AJ Johnson, another one. Yup. Yeah, there's a lot of death. And remember, Sun Square Pluto. Remember I said death surrounds people with Sun Square Pluto. So there's all the deaths right there with John Witherspoon, another one. There's all the deaths right there in one movie, Players Club. Damn. See what I mean? He has Venus conjoined to Saturn, which can make him very shrewd when it comes to money. It can make him where he's very stingy too. Let me see what else he got. He got Mars and Sagittarius. That could cause him to have some greed with him. He got Mercury opposition Mars. So he could go on the attack if somebody is threatening to release some information about him. That can even deal with where a car gets shot up. I wouldn't be surprised if he has something to do with like some drive-by shootings and stuff. So maybe he really is gangster, but not in the way that he tried to portray himself. So I would say, yeah, he's real dark-sided, but not in that ostentatious way. He's the type that, he moves kind of silently, so you would never be able to guess it. And then, those Are We There Yet movies and the family shit, that's how he tries to hide and make it seem like he's this family guy. But yeah, he might be the worst one. He might be worse than Dr. Dre. But moving along. I know some of y'all don't want to hear this one. Some of y'all ain't going to believe me on this one. Now, some of this is not her fault, I think. But I will tell y'all this. I never trusted this woman. There's something always about her I did not like. And I can't put my finger on it. Who's that, y'all? she has a dark side by default. So I'm not like totally faulting her and saying that she's totally on the dark side, but there's something about her that I feel like you cannot trust. And I never took a liking to her. Like there's always something about her that I was always like, something ain't right with her. And then when I found out that she grew up in the Church of Scientology, I was like, oh, okay, that kind of explains why I see her as kind of funny. So she grew up in the Church of Scientology, which makes me believe that's how she got her start in Hollywood, because you know Scientology and Hollywood, they got that connection. But then she broke away from the Church of Scientology. But strangely, nothing has really happened to her. Usually when you break away from the Church of Scientology and you come out about them and you start telling the truth about them, usually they go on the attack and they might even result in putting you 6 feet under. But for some reason, they're not touching her. And then when I saw her being interviewed by Joe Rogan, and I saw how, first of all, Joe Rogan's married, but he's a Leo. You know how Leos, they like that attention. They like, when somebody flirts with them and stuff. I could tell she picked up on, that Leo vibe he was giving off, and she was flirting with him something hard. And I'm like, look at her. I'm like, she know good and well that this man is married, and she probably knows that his wife is watching this show and stuff because it's Lee Remini. But that made me question that. I was like, she would sleep with Joe Rogan if she had a chance. She was basically throwing the kitty cat at him. Her mother had a high position in the church. Yeah, she is best friends with J-Lo. That's another thing that makes me kind of suspect of her. But again, she's on the light end. I'm not saying that she's totally dark, but there's something very mysterious. And that Church of Scientology connection to me says a lot. All right, next we have James Franco. So he's on the semi-dark end. Wasn't there some stuff, like some scandal that came out about James Franco? Wasn't he dealing with an underage chick or something like that? I just know that there's something not right with James Franco, and I think he is a little off. He's a little crazy. So, yeah, I don't know about, but yeah, wasn't there some type of scandal with him? I swear it was something dealing with a younger somebody underage. Diana said James Franco is a creep. Cherry Bell said he's done loads with underage girls. Yeah, I knew there was some shit on him. And he just looks dirty. Siobhan said Franco always in a creepy scandal. Yep. All right. So not much to say about him. I'm not even going to get into his chart, but yeah, he has this thing. Now, I thought he was a little cute when he was in Pineapple Express, but then I got over that real quick. I was like, oh, he's not cute at all. I was just like, he just looked filthy and just nasty. But moving along, again, this is on the light end. Now we get in a little darker, but again, this is not really her fault. She was raised in a dark-sided family. I mean, she grew up in a family of performers. They were vaudeville performers. Anybody know who this is? But her life story is just very dark. Her mother was the dark one, really. But her father was dark too because he was DL. He was on the DL. And I think he was cross-dressing and all that. But yeah. So that's not Shirley Temple. Who is that? That's not Liza. That's her mother. So yes, Courtney got it. Judy Garland, yes. So Judy Garland, she had it rough. She was a child actress. Her mother started giving her drugs, uppers in the morning to get her up so that she could be on the Hollywood set performing early. She would give her downers at night so that she would go to bed early and wake up early the next day. Her father was gay, but he was in the closet. Her mom was abusive and just crazy. And I think, what's the guy's name from MGM? Mayor? What's his first name? Mayor, but the guy from MGM, the big guy, the big wig. I think he was molesting her. Because if you see that movie, who played that movie where she played Judy Garland? It was a pretty good movie, and it was real sad. But in the movie, they make it seem like Mayer, the head of MGM, was basically molesting her. Louis Mayer, yeah, there he is. Louis B. Mayer, yeah. So basically, she kind of went crazy, and she lost custody of two of her kids, and that's because she was really struggling at the time, and she was always on the road trying to, make a buck. This was when she was kind of like at the end of her career, and she became an alcoholic and a drug addict, and she would show out and stuff. And another problem too, she had weight problems, and she was known as the actress that wasn't that cute too. So Hollywood can be rough, and they would let her know, like, look, you ain't cute and you gaining weight, and they would only allow her to eat like very meager meals. I forgot what it was that they were forcing her to eat and stuff. But yeah, Siobhan said they were all passing Judy around. So yeah, very tragic, dark story. So she became dark-sided, but it wasn't her fault. Cabbage soup. Yup, that's what it was. Yeah. Oh yeah. Her husband was gay, wasn't he? One of them. And then it passed down to Liza Minnelli's husband. She married a gay guy. David Guest, remember him? All right, next. Oh, and Judy Garland is a Cancer rising with Venus in Cancer. She got a bunch of Cancer energy, which points to her mom and growing up in that family and all that. All right, next. Well, wouldn't you know? Of course, I would have this fool on the list. So Kanye West, he's dark-sided, I think, just because he's a narcissist, but also he's on that dark side because of the mental health issues he's dealing with. I feel like his mind is really plagued by demons, and I feel like he really is like dealing with this battle between good and evil in his mind. But I will say, I don't think he knew what he was really getting into when he got with Kim Kardashian. And think about it, he's never been the same since. Like, his career really tanked after getting with her. I feel like his career was already kind of going downhill. But you see how the death of his mom still like haunts him and still has him just like losing his mind and stuff like that. He can't get over it. So Kawhi said he may have sacrificed his mother. I think he did, because he kind of told on himself during a concert, because he was like, I sold my soul to the devil. Let me pull up his chart, because he got a crazy ass chart. But yeah, he admitted it. He was like, I sold my soul to the devil. All right, Kanye West. So Cancer rising. And that can make him good with music in terms of the imagination and also the soulfulness that comes with Cancer. But that also points to his mother being very close to his heart, or just close to him, period. But I'm like, she obviously wasn't that damn close, because he got Moon in Pisces, which points to the sacrifice of his mother. So who was saying that he may have said Kawhi? There it is right there. So if we want to get really literal, let me pull up his chart real quick. If we want to get literal now, he's a Cancer rising, which would make the moon his chart ruler. His moon is in Pisces, the sign of sacrifice. Both Cancer and the moon rule the mother, and the moon has the nerve to be squaring Neptune. And it's squaring the sun too. That sun square moon can make him really cuckoo. And that could put him in a state of arrested development. But back to that moon square Neptune, and especially with that moon being a chart ruler, hell yeah, that could be where he knowingly sacrificed his mother. And I could see him doing something like that because he's a Gemini. And that's one thing you got to also remember about Gemini too. They're so here in the now that a lot of times they don't consider the consequences of their actions. So he might have agreed to sell his soul in exchange for his mother's life, but maybe he didn't believe that shit would actually happen. Maybe he didn't believe the power, like how powerful these evils that be are, and how, they'll make shit happen. It might have even been a silent prayer that he made with God, talking about, even if I gotta sacrifice my mother, I want to make it to the top. So, and you know what they say? They be like, God knows your heart, or you could say the universe knows your heart. So that sun square moon alone could deal with conflicts with his mother. Like, I love my mother, but I need to get put on. And with that Gemini, he can rationalize that shit. You got an Aries South Node, which means he's coming from a place of selfishness. So that selfishness, that selfish streak that he has, could have very well enabled him to do what he did, basically sell his soul in exchange for his mother's death. And again, that sun in Gemini, then sun conjunct Jupiter in Gemini, that could deal with over rationalizing some shit. You over rationalize it. Then he has the crazy aspect. Sorry if some of y'all have this aspect, but it can deal with a lot of craziness, including having to spend time in a mental institution. He has Sun opposition Neptune, but not just Sun opposition Neptune. He got Sun conjunct Jupiter opposition Neptune. That Sun conjunct Jupiter can make him a big time narcissist, because that right there, that's where you have these delusions of grandeur. That whole opposition with Sun conjoined to Jupiter opposing Neptune, that's the delusions of grandeur right there. But it can also deal with where he's trapped in a situation, like him being with Kim Kardashian, and he's still trapped because he has kids with her, and now he has to deal with, the whole co-parenting and thing. But that can also deal with he's trapped, locked into a deal, dealing with the music industry. That can also deal with he's trapped in a dark hallway, dealing with drugs, dealing with paranoia, delusions, all this type of stuff. So, yeah. You said he wanted a mom who looked the part, so he sent her to get that surgery. Yeah, I could see he might have been with that moon in Pisces. He might have been ashamed of the way his mom looked. So you might be on to something, Siobhan, especially with that moon square Neptune. And she was a little long in the teeth too. So he was probably like, go ahead and get your teeth fixed too, Ma. She had that little space in between the teeth and stuff. But that's Kanye West. I'm not going to dwell too long on this guy's chart. We talked about him a number of times, but he's definitely on the list of the dark side of Geminis. Next, we have, of course, we have to talk about him. Actually, let me pull him up. Y'all should already know he's on the list. And actually, I'm tired of talking about him. Looking like a little lamb. And you see that look he's giving? That's a very Gemini look. That's that side eye. You see that side eye shit? Gemini is the king and queen of the side eye. So, of course, we got to put Jussie Smollett up in here, because he did the two-faced shit with acting like he got assaulted, or he was being, what was it? It was like some hate crime or something. And he ended up setting that shit up and stuff. And then when he was talking about I'm not suicidal in court and stuff, he's just a hot mess. Now, let me look and see his chart to see what makes him so corruptible. Again, he's one of those corruptible Geminis, because I believe somebody put him up to this. I don't believe he acted on his own with this little stunt he pulled. I believe somebody put it in his head and he was like, okay, I'll do it. He's another one that has Sun opposition Neptune, but to make matters worse, he has Sun conjunct Moon opposition Neptune. So he really can be out of his mind, but think he's totally doing the right thing, or think he's totally sane, but he's not. And that Sun conjunct Moon can cause him to have these outbursts, especially in terms of it opposing Neptune. The next thing you know, he embarrassing himself, acting a fool. Let me see what else. He's a Capricorn South Node. So he could have this thing where he wants to, basically be on top. He could be overly ambitious with that. Then he has Mars and Saturn squaring that South Node. So that could deal with where, again, he's not operating on his own volition or of his own volition, because Mars and Saturn are in Libra. That's like his masters telling him what to do and him being the fall guy for it. Because when you got a Capricorn South Node, you might willfully be the fall guy if you know that it's going to make you even more famous or give you something in terms of money or recognition or what have you. He has Venus conjoined to Chiron, which can deal with funny money. So again, I think somebody put him up to this. He has Jupiter in Scorpio at the 0 degree, so I know he's a big time hoe. He's a type that can't be faithful to save his life. But yeah, enough about him. Yeah, he's the type that could probably get along fine in jail. But then again, he's real touchy too. That's another thing. I noticed that some Geminis can be touchy, not touchy feely, but like they don't like when, either they don't like when, I'll say this, what is the word? They could be so cerebral with it that they could be too much about, oh, I don't like how that feels, or don't do that, or whatever, or I don't even want to talk about this one situation, but I just know what I'm talking about, where they could be very much alike. And again, because it's too much in their head and they don't understand, like, look, everything is not how you think it's supposed to be just because you say it is or whatever. But more about that in a minute. Next person, you already know. Now, this whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation. Everybody was looking at Amber Heard because we know that Amber Heard is crazier than Johnny, but Johnny is no innocent person either. Johnny is no saint. Johnny is very much on the dark side. Yes, you see the devil horns. That's exactly why I chose his picture. And he's throwing this up in court. He knows what he's doing. And my thing is, Johnny Depp, he's been dancing with the devil for so long that the devil showed up in the flesh through Amber Heard. That's why I wasn't feeling too sorry for him getting with somebody like Amber Heard, because he basically asked for it with the dark-sided life that he lives. And, he's friends with this guy, which, it kind of makes you wonder, how dark Johnny really likes it. I mean, he's like really close friends with Marilyn Manson. Here's Johnny and Marilyn. I think they were in a video together or whatever. I'm pretty sure they've shared a bed together a number of times as well. But yeah, Johnny has those rings on his fingers, and that's dealing with that Virgo stellium he has, especially with Mars conjunct Pluto. And I didn't mention this when I was doing the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard video, but what I failed to tell y'all, matter of fact, let me pull up his chart. What I failed to tell y'all about that situation with the rings on his fingers, those rings probably have demons attached to them, because some people that are really into magic, they will have rings where demons have been basically attached to them or bonded to those rings. And I'm pretty sure that's why Johnny has those rings, because it's dealing with some demonic entities that probably helped him to get those roles in the Pirates of the Caribbean and shit. Because I think his career was kind of suffering before he got the Pirates. He was kind of losing his youthful look. And Johnny, he went through several stages. Geminis can change how they look. He was pretty cute back in the day, but then even some movies, like when I was looking at him with one of my favorite movies of his, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, he wasn't even that cute in that movie. But now he's just looking like an old sack of potatoes. And you could tell it's due to that hard living, the hard drinking, the drugs, staying up all night partying or whatever, or just wallowing in your self-pity and all that stuff. But yeah, those rings he be wearing, trust and believe, that's on some demonic shit. And basically he dealt with a demon in the flesh with Amber Heard, and that's basically what he wanted anyway. But he didn't want it in that type of shape and form. But hey, you can't be choosy when you dance with the devil, basically. Oh, hell yeah, he's a dark warlock, in my opinion. Yes, he's very much steeped into that. Look at some of the movies he's been in, like The Ninth Gate. The Ninth Gate is a movie where he's this book dealer, and he is hired by these Satanists to find this book that was written by Satan. Like, he plays in a lot of dark movies. Let's be real. He played in that Sleepy Hollow movie, which was real dark. He played in Sweeney Todd, which was real dark. Even the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, that version was real dark. Um, he did the Alice in Wonderland. I never saw that, but he looked real dark in that movie. Some of these people that play these roles in Hollywood, they play them because it's very much a part of who they are, period. Hell yeah, I think they do the nasty. Hell yeah. I think Johnny be slobbing all over Marilyn Manson's knob. Definitely know Marilyn Manson is bisexual. And that's another thing about Gemini. Gemini could go both ways really easily. Not saying they all will, but the potential is there. So you can always assume with a Gemini that they go both ways. Now, I never seen Crybaby, never had a desire to. But even that Edward Scissorhands was dark as shit too. All right, next. And just before we leave Johnny, here is Johnny with, what's her name? Juliette Lewis. She's another Gemini, and I have her on my list. She's not really on the dark side, but there's just something strange about Juliette Lewis. And she's played in some kind of dark roles too. And as you can see, she has this like spider web type of dress on. And she dated Johnny Depp briefly too. So yeah, Juliette Lewis, there's something really strange about her. She probably drinks blood or some shit like that. I wouldn't be surprised. Isn't Marilyn Manson a Capricorn? So Juliette Lewis, she's on my list, but she's not really. And she just seems like the type of dark-sided person that's dark-sided because she was traumatized when she was young. Hey, Cameron, I was thinking about you the other day. You said Johnny was cute when he was younger, and then he got hella unkempt. Yeah, he gets bad breath and dookie booty. He really does. And that's probably why Amber put the boo-boo on the sheets, because it was probably a joke. It was an inside joke because he don't wipe his ass. And she was like, I'm going to really show you what I think of you and your shitty ass. And then, she dropped the deuce on the bed. And I was like when he basically told that story about what Amber Heard did, I was like, I'm pretty sure he's no stranger to poop. You know how these elites get down. Moving along. Oh, who do we have here? Oh my God. Who's that? You might not be able to see who that is because she's busy locking lips with her brother. Who's that? Telling you, a lot of these Geminis, they be like on some next shit. Who's that? Angelina. There you go, Oro. Dr. Ken got it too. That's Angelina Jolie locking lips with her very own brother. And Gemini is the sign of incest. So there you go. So now, in her defense, even though this isn't much of a defense, but I'm going to rationalize this shit right here. I believe that this was a stunt that she was doing to piss her father off, John Voight, because her and her father have not gotten along for many years. She can't stand her father. At one point, they did have a relationship. At one point, Angelina Jolie's last name was Voight, but then her and her father got into a big argument or disagreement, and then she changed her last name to Jolie. And yeah, so I think she was doing this shit to get back at her father. Here they are again, just to show you that she's done this on more than one occasion. But, see, let me back up. I believe she did this in public to shame her father, but I believe she's probably really had sex with her brother behind closed doors, or they've done something together behind closed doors that's inappropriate. But yeah, I believe this was like a middle finger to her father, to like, that's like the ultimate like shame and mind fuck type of thing. And again, Gemini has a devil may care attitude. Like, I don't care that I'm, tonguing my brother down. Yeah, I did like her in Gia too. I like her in Girl Interrupted too. But yeah, and Angelina Jolie, she's one of those like ambassadors for different countries and stuff. You got to watch people like that. So she's very much connected to people that are in the upper echelons of society, these people that plan the events of the world. That's why she's also on my dark sided list too, because I don't trust her. She might be a government spy. Some of these actors are government spies, and didn't she play in those movies, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and shit? She's played in a couple of spy movies, like a few of them. Salt, wasn't Salt one of them? Then she played in Tomb Raider, where she was doing some Illuminati shit. And then she was in Mr. and Mrs. Smith. She was in some other action film too. Yeah, she's played spies before. Meet Merc, you might be on to something. Where you at? You said she might be secretly into human trafficking, which it can explain why she adopted those kids. I'm telling you, there's something really dark about Angelina Jolie. Also, remember when she got the mastectomy without even having cancer? And she says she got it because, her mom had cancer and she was so afraid that she was going to get cancer. So she had the mastectomy, which was kind of really strange. But that's how dark-sided Gemini will rationalize things. They could be totally kooky like that. Now, I just thought about Lisa Left Eye Lopez because she did do some dark-sided things. Her life was rather dark-sided in general, but I didn't add her. But maybe I should have. Y'all think I should add Lisa Lopez? Lisa Left Eye? I mean, I swear her death was a murder. And she did burn down Andre Rison's house. And I do think she was a little off mentally. And then when she went down to Honduras and she was studying under Dr. Sebi and stuff, she basically questioned Dr. Sebi. Did y'all know that? She basically called him out on him having these different young girlfriends. And I think he got some of those young girls pregnant and stuff. And Lisa Left Eye Lopez called him out about it. Maybe he was the one who put a hit out on her or something. But yeah, something was up with that whole story. But yeah, she did have some dark-sided moments, burning down. And she rationalized the reason why she should burn up that house. Well, it started with the sneakers. She started where she put all the sneakers in the tub and then lit them on fire. But see, her rationale was because he came home with all these new sneaks and he didn't buy any for her. So her rationale was to throw them all in the tub, light them on fire with lighter fluid, mind you. Next thing you know, the whole thing's going up in flame. Because remember I said Gemini is a sign that really doesn't think things through. They really don't think about the long-term consequences or even the consequences, period, of what they're about to do, because they're very much living in the moment, which can be very good to some respects, but in other cases, not so much. I think her father molested her too, because she had a strange relationship with her father. Like she said, her father was very strict, had a very militaristic approach with them, but then he would allow them to drink. And Lisa Left Eye Lopez said she would get like drunk and shit, and her father wouldn't care. But then the father was real controlling and drunk too. Like something ain't right with this whole story. And then when she went into LaFace Records and she went in there with guns blazing, she had T-Boz and Chili with her too. But I think that was the moment where that was the mark of death for her, when she went up into LaFace Records threatening them when she found out that they were getting robbed, basically. So we're going to put Lisa Left Eye Lopez honorable mention, even though I don't have an image of her. But she was kind of wild out as a Gemini. Next. I know some of y'all love Biggie Smalls. Some of y'all love Notorious B.I.G., but he is on my dark-sided list. Now, he's not one of the real dark ones, but his lifestyle and what he rapped about was very dark. And him being associated with P. Diddy was very dark as well. And that's how he ended up getting his ass killed, associating with a dark-sided individual like P. Diddy. But Biggie has said some questionable things in some of his raps. He's had some questionable lyrics that does make you question his sexuality. There you go, Desiree. Up. That does make you question his sexuality, but also his morals and ethics, because there was this one song where he talked about this boy that he had, like his friend, and he was like, don't you know he'll basically blank kids, if you know what I mean. Like, he didn't have no qualms about rapping about some crazy stuff. And I'll never forget, he had that skit on his Life After Death album where he was talking about a woman asked him to shit on her, and he did it, and basically he had sex with her. And I know who that woman is. I told y'all this before, because I know the guy that was friends with her. She told him and he told me, so I heard this secondhand. So basically that was about Charlie Baltimore. But the fact that you would do that to a woman, I don't care if she wants it or not, that's on some real dark sided shit. And Gemini is, can go that far, because again, they don't have the morals and ethics. Charlie Baltimore, Kawhi. And Charlie Baltimore got that look, like she looked nasty, like she would do something like that. I'm just saying. And from the way I heard it, Charlie Baltimore was saying it like she was proud of that shit. She was like, yeah, you know how Biggie talking about shitting on this girl? Yeah, that was me. I'm like, ew. I'm like, ain't that much money in the world, ain't that much fame in the world. And the way he was treating Faith Evans, cheating all over her, the way he was treating Little Kim, the way he was treating all the women that he was dealing with. Yeah, that was that Dubai shit. He got that shit on and popping early on. But yes, he did. Check out that album. It's on the Life and or After Death album. And the fact that he even put that on the album was very shameful to me. Shameless. But hey, sometimes Gemini don't have those morals. Hi, I am well versed. You said one thing that I noticed about Gemini women is that they got the tendency to attract physical abusers. Another thing, I never liked Biggie's mom. What's her name? Vonda something? Something about his mom I don't like. And I think I told y'all, it might have been during a live stream or something. I was like, you can tell his mom didn't want his ass. And this is one of the things that really makes me suspect about his mom. So she claims she didn't know that he was selling drugs before he became a rapper. And she said one day she went into his room and found this white stuff, and she thought it was just flour. I'm like, bitch, stop playing. You know he was buying you a new pair of shoes and a new pocketbook and all types of stuff, and you was taking all that shit. Her name is Violetta. Yeah. Remember after Biggie died, she was all up on the award shows. She was like on the reality shows and shit like that. She was really trying to get her shine, and I didn't like that. I was like, I do not like this woman. I do not like her. And that's just my Sagittarius intuition popping off about somebody. So yeah. Vanetta Wallace. Was that her name? Yeah. I remember it was some award show and she came on stage, and this wasn't even that long after Piggy died, and she wasn't even upset. She was probably happy. Oh wait, you said West Indian moms be like that? Yeah, they kind of hardcore, ain't they? So she won a lawsuit with the bus company. Yeah, mine was acting brand new. Yes. So yeah, I was never a fan of Valetta Wallace or whatever her name is. All right, next celebrity. Now he's from the old school. Some of y'all don't even know who this cat is. Some of y'all are just like, who the hell is this bug-eyed fool? So who is that, y'all? He was something else. And some of these people are talented, but that doesn't excuse their dark-sided ways. So who is that? Yes, Miles Davis. Yes. So, he had a very dark side to him. He basically beat every woman that he was with. I think even Cicely Tyson. But yeah, he was something else. And from what I heard, he was like scary when he would get into his angry outbursts and tirades. He would tear up shit in the house. He had he had a drug and alcohol problem and stuff. Why is it always these good musicians that got these issues? James Brown was another one, beating women to death and shit, but good with the music. What's up with that? But yeah, you can tell he was the type that would go upside a woman's head. He just had that look. So yeah, I'm just saying. So yeah, he did have a drug problem. I believe he had an alcohol problem too. So Oral, you said he has Venus square Pluto and North Node. That's the perfect recipe for beating a woman. Yes, it is. But I believe he had some issues starting from his early life. Didn't he grow up real poor or something and like struggled in that area and all that type of stuff? But even that, I'm like, at some point, you need to appreciate your gifts, realize you got it good, and just calm the fuck down. But obviously, Miles Davis couldn't calm down, so that's that. And this is what's so insidious about Gemini, because they are really like two people in one. So, and sometimes he could be the greatest guy and nice and everything, and then other times he'd be the devil. And that's how a lot of them are. All right, next. Now, this ain't nothing but a demon in the flesh. Look at that. Wait a minute, he was wearing weaves. Yeah, most entertainers are a little off. Does anybody know who that is? That ain't nothing but a demon in the flesh. Look at that face. Look at the hair. Look at the eyes. This is a hot mess. But sometimes Gemini just don't care. Sometimes Gemini do be looking disheveled. So yeah, sometimes they look a little, off kilter. And she definitely got that off kilter. Yes, Azalea Banks. So she's had a lot of stories about how she just does not get along well with people. She's always getting in conflict with somebody, always got something to say. And wasn't she the one that was killing the cat, like that had the cat in the pot and she was doing some type of satanic ritual? Isn't she the one that was doing that with the cat? Like she dug the cat up and stuff? Mona said, I hate both people Geminis portray. Yeah, she definitely got some mental illness shit dealing with her. She even got into it with my man Rizzo one time. I was like, bitch, you better step the fuck off. But yeah, I don't think I've heard a single one of her songs. But isn't she the one that did that with the cat? That's her? Yup. Yeah, the cat bones. Yeah, she's into that dark stuff too. And didn't she have something rotten in her closet or something like that? Yeah, just totally off her rocker. And she's only going to get worse with age. It's going to be a shame when she hits her 40s and nobody's checking for her anymore. Is anybody checking for her even now? Somebody name one song that she sang. I'm gonna have to pull up a song real quick because I don't know none of her songs. I really don't care to know. Indigo said Miles Davis used to scare you. Yeah, especially when he had that, when he had the receding hairline and he started to just let his hair grow out and that big ass alien looking forehead. Yeah, that's when he used to scare me too. All right, what's her name? Ariana Grande? No, that's not her name. What's her name? Azalea Banks. There she is. I don't know a single one of her songs. That's sad. All right, let me see something real quick. So here's a song from 10 years ago called 212, whatever that means. She got a song called Anna Wintour. How corny. She got a song called Luxury. This is 9 years ago. All right, let me hear it. Oh, I already don't like her stuff. Yeah, it's that type of electronic dance music type stuff. I'm not cool with that. You said she would definitely feed her man some voodoo spaghetti. But yeah, actually I'm looking forward to her like getting older because this is going to be interesting. Because seeing an old ass person, old ass Gemini, and they still, off their rocker, that could be really entertaining. All right, you said Black Madonna. Speaking of Madonna, have you seen Madonna's adopted black son? She turned him into a total woman. Well, he's not a woman, but you know what I mean. She turned him out. Black Madonna, okay. I already don't like the intro. Okay, I heard enough. All right, I might check it out more in length later. All right, next person. Who's this? Oh, that's that chick. Now, I'm not going to say she's totally dark sided, but she's been in some dark sided films, and that forehead is dark sided alone. I mean, that's the Bride of Frankenstein forehead. I'm just saying. But some of y'all might have seen her in Fight Club. She was also in, I think she was in the Sweeney Todd movie with Johnny Depp. But yeah, and she was dating Tim Burton at one point. I don't know if they're still together. You know, Tim Burton, he got that dark shit to him. But she's basically in my on my list because she grew up an aristocrat. She comes from, like, I'm not going to say royalty, but she's from one of those bloodlines. So she's dark sided by default, simply from coming from that rich family, the, part of that whole royal bloodline shit. Her father was in some top level government type shit or whatever like that. So yeah, she's on my list by default. All right, next we got, hey, look who we have here. Y'all remember him? I mean, he ruled the 80s. I remember when the first one first came out, Nightmare on Elm Street. I remember the promo would come on TV and I was so scared I would close my eyes. But I was so curious too. I wanted to see it. But I remember they would start with that song, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Yeah, that's Robert Englund. He played Freddy Krueger. Now, I'm not saying he's dark-sided in real life, but I'm like, you got to be a little dark-sided to play Freddy Krueger. I mean, it looked like he was having a bit too much fun playing Freddy. He was really into that role, and he would play that role to the hilt, all the way down to that green and red sweater and that fedora he was wearing and shit. Freddy was cool as shit. But again, you got to me to play that role, you got to be a little bit on the dark side. I'm just saying. So Robert Englund, Gemini, very much. And Freddy had those catchphrases. Freddy had the gift of the gab, and that's very Gemini too. Now, did they ever say what Freddy Krueger's birthday was? Like, did they ever say his sign in the movie? But remember the story about Freddy Krueger? That story was like crazy. Like, he was a pedo. Remember? Wait a minute. Freddy Krueger was born June 6th? Or are you talking about Robert Englund? Yes, he was that's the storyline was dark as shit. Remember in the first movie, the mom comes clean and tells the daughter why she's having the nightmares about Freddy. Because she was like, Freddy was killing kids in the neighborhood, and all the parents got together and they burned his ass up in the boiler room. And now Freddy has come back and he's haunting the kids. But yeah, that was some deep shit. But yeah, this was when, the horror movies, the slasher films were pretty damn cool. Now they just suck. All right, next. Who we got right here? Now, do I have his chart? Let me see if I got his chart. I think I might. Let me see. Because I sure don't feel like pulling it up. Having to go look for it. Who's that, y'all? And it ain't nothing pretty. Of course, I don't have his chart. Let me get his chart real quick because we're going to read him a little bit. We're going to dwell on this dude a little bit. Now, wasn't he the one that was like humping on his mama on the dance floor, or was his mama humping on him? Which one was it? So he's June 11th, 1997. Makes sense that he had some issues dealing with race. I think he was talking about he didn't want to be with a dark-skinned black woman. or something like that. So that 11 makes a lot of sense. So he was born in 1997. He's not that old at all. Kodak Black. Why he gotta wear his hair like that? And then he was born in Pompano Beach, Florida. Pompano, is it Pompano Beach, Florida? Pompano Beach, Florida. I don't think I ever heard any of his songs either. All right, so let's see. So he has his sun in Gemini, Mercury in Gemini. Mercury is opposing Pluto. That right there, that Mercury opposition Pluto, that's him saying things that generates hatred from people. Like when he was being all colorist and shit, and he received a lot of like hate and backlash for that. That's pointing to that. But that can also mean that he'll say stuff just to get a rise out of people, like just to have people all upset and shit. Mona Me said he looks half human now. He was a regular haircut. Tunnel Vision is his popular song. But yeah, you could tell he's touched in the head. He's another Gemini that looks all disheveled and stuff. But wasn't he like doing something inappropriate with his mother, like borderline incest shit? New Eye said Kodak said he only lets the water hit him, no soap. Wow, is he serious? He does look demonic, right? Yeah. So let's see. Does he have something in Capricorn? Roma asked. Because of his teeth. He has Neptune in Capricorn, and it's forming a trine with Mars and the North Node in Virgo. So that could deal with dental work that he gets done that has like jewels in it, like with those gold teeth and stuff like that. So I guess he thinks it looks good. Now let me see. He has his sun squaring his node. So his sun is squaring his south node, which can cause him to be touched in the head, like have some mental health issues. And then he has sun square Mars. That can make a person very difficult, and they could be the creator of conflict, and they could just be very selfish, and they could be somebody that could compromise their values or compromise their standards or whatever for the sake of being famous. He also might be into some like really submissive stuff sexually. I would definitely say he's bisexual with that Sun Square Mars, but I feel like he's the type that really wants to be, what's the word? Submissive. So he probably likes his hands tied behind his back. He probably likes the ball gag in his mouth and all types of stuff. He seems like that type. And with that aspect, he could be dealing with that, especially with his hands being tied with that Mars square Gemini sun. Yeah, he's a wild one. He got Saturn in Aries. Let's see, he got Venus in Cancer. That's him loving on his mom all inappropriately. So Venus in Cancer, quincunx Uranus in Aquarius. That's an inappropriate contact or dealings with his mom. Now, remind me what was going on with the mom thing. Let me pull up a video. Hold on. Kodak Black and mom. Somebody was touching somebody inappropriately. Let me find it. Is this it right here? All right, this might be it. And I told y'all that Gemini can promote incest. I can barely say the word.
2 hours later.
I don't think this is the one. Hold on. Hold on. I don't think that's the one. Because weren't they outside? The other one, let me go and see if I can find the other one. I swear they were outside at a party. This might be it. Okay, I think this is it. So he grabs his mom's ass. I would have slapped my son clean across the face. That's scandalous. That is not. But like I said, some Geminis just don't have those morals or ethics or just that sense of decency. I mean, come on now. Yeah. The way he touched his mom's ass more than once. Like it was like he made sure to get a nice like little grip before she walked away. And his mom didn't even look shocked. You know what I mean? Looked like she was used to it. So yeah, makes you wonder. All right, next. Oh, wait till y'all see this one. When I first saw this dude, I gotta admit, I was scared. I was scared for the world. I was scared for humanity. I was scared for the younger generations because I was like, this is what we've come to. This is where we're at now. Like straight demons in the flesh. He's another one. I never heard any of his songs, but I did see a video of his. Not a music video, but it was a video where he was challenging somebody to do a certain thing. And I was like, yo, this dude is a straight up demon. He's disgusting. Yeah, don't he look like Chucky? Yeah, when I first saw him, I was so scared. And this is him looking tame. This is him looking sane. Yeah, Trippy Red. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what is wrong with these guys now? Here go another picture of him. Now, I got to look at his chart. I never even looked at his chart again. But he letting you know, I mean, he's not beating around the bush what side he's on. I mean, look at the devil horns and shit like that. And actually, when you look at the glyph for the planet Mercury, it does look like Mercury has those devil horns. So you always got to keep that into account when it comes to both Gemini and Virgo, because they're both ruled by Mercury. So he's showing his true self right here with the devil horns. But I mean, he's just scary looking. And looked like he might have been sipping on too much of that soy milk when he was a baby, because I'm seeing some strong, like, kind of feminine looks, features, and look like he a little conflicted about, like, who he really is and stuff. Like, he could be, like, he could pass as a female to male transgender, if you ask me. But I think it's just because his hormones are a little jacked up because he from that generation. You know, a lot of them are a little mixed up, a little mixed bag of stuff. But yeah, Trippy Red, let me see what's in his chart that gives him this dark aura and dark persona. So Trippy Red, he's an 18. So Indigo, he shares your birthday, June 18th. So Trippy Red, he just has his sun in Gemini. He has Mercury in Cancer, though. He has Mercury square Jupiter, which could cause him to go too far with stuff, which he does. He got Sun Quincunx Chiron. That's the one where he was goading the guy. This was so disgusting. He was goading the guy. I saw this video clip where it was like him with some other dudes. It must have been on Instagram or whatever. And they were challenging this guy to eat a shit sandwich. So basically the guy got some dog shit and he put it between two pieces of bread. And then, they're telling him to put it in the microwave so it gets soft and shit. And when I was like, oh, wow, this dude is really on some demonic shit. He really dark like that. So with that sun quincunx Chiron and Scorpio, I'm pretty sure he's cut himself on a number of occasions, because that could be where he cutting his arms up and shit. But that can also deal with all the tattoos that he has, and he's probably addicted to getting tattoos, but that could be the demon, acting through him. And then that's also him basically goading people to do some real disgusting shit. Like, he is a nasty piece of work. But I wonder what his mother looks like. Let me see if I can find his parents or something. Hold on. Trippy Red. Some of these dudes really look scary. Trippy Red. Little Yachty is another one that looks scary to me. Trippy Red. Let me see mother. Let's see if we can find his mother. Wait a minute. His mother looks damn near normal. Is that his mom's? Wait a minute. That's his mom's? Hold on. I think this might be his mom, y'all. Let me pull this up. His mom looked pretty damn normal and looked like she's proud of her son. But some of these mothers out here, they be doing too much when it comes to their kids and supporting them and stuff. But this is his mom right here, I believe. So his mom looks pretty normal. You say he was probably created in a lab, right? So his mom is pretty normal, or looks pretty normal, but it looks like she could, still be a little on the wild side. But yeah, I mean, interesting. But yeah, I always be wondering, those people that tattoo their face, I feel like that's a sign of demonic possession or attachment or just demonic influence, period. Yeah, you said his mom is pretty. His dad probably looks funny. She probably dropped him on his head a few times when he was young. All right, who else we got? Y'all remember her? Now, she's been in some dark movies, including, remember the movie, what was that movie called? Why can't I remember it? I used to love this movie about the witches. Why can't I think of the name of this movie? It's not Charmed. It's, y'all know what this movie's called. The one where it was three witches. Her, the redhead, Craft. Yes. Remember, she was the dark one in the Craft? Well, she's really dark like this. Now, I'm not saying she's evil, but she actually has her own like occult supply shop somewhere in England or somewhere, maybe in the Los Angeles or something. She was also in that movie American History X. I think she played the skinhead's girlfriend. And then she was in some other dark stuff too. Like, she was in that movie for kids that's kind of dark. What was it called? The Dark Crystal or something? She was in one of those movies too, about for kids, but it was like fantasy. But she's always like done the dark thing. And she lives it basically because she is basically a real life witch. So she's a Gemini. I'm throwing her in there. Yes, Firuza Balk. And yes, definitely yes, she does own a metaphysical shop. Oh, I didn't know. I remember the Water Boy too. I don't remember all the details. I'm gonna have to watch the Water Boy again. She was really good in the craft. She was very convincing, but that's because she lives this type of life. Very much so. All right, so that's Firuza Balk. All right, next we're starting to go into darker territory, as y'all can see. Who's that, y'all? Let me get this out the way. He's a Gemini sun conjoined to his South Node, which means that he's liable to do anything to get some attention. He's liable to do anything, say anything, write anything on his body. I'll never forget, there was a story about him having a tattoo that was basically depicting some, child predator type of activity. But I've heard that he since got that tattoo covered up. But yes, Steve O, he's one of the jackass, part of the jackass crew. I never got into that type of humor. I don't enjoy that type of humor. Actually, that type of humor scares me. Um, and isn't it funny how their production team is called Dick House? But anyway, Steve O has done some crazy things, from like putting like nails through his penis to um getting turned upside down in a porta potty or some other crazy shit. I could never get into the Jackass movies. Yes, the Jackass movie is very Gemini. Yes, so he is perfect for it. And how they would do things to their parents and stuff, like they would go into their parents' bedroom in the middle of the night and do some crazy stuff, and the parents would like. I mean, it's just crazy. And yes, Steve-O has taken just about every drug imaginable, so him just going on these drug fueled like crazy antics and all this type of stuff. But yes, he's definitely on the dark side. He may not be into that stuff anymore, like in terms of how he was when he was younger. He might say, "Oh, I've done all this stuff because I was drunk or I was high." Steve-O does have Sun Square Moon, with that moon being in Pisces. And again, that square can manifest as arrested development, where the person does not have a grip upon their emotions. They don't know how to act right. They might act the fool on the regular. They basically can have temper tantrums even as an adult, like throw things all around and stuff, mess up a place, trash a hotel room. I'm pretty sure he's trashed a number of hotel rooms with that Sun Square Moon, and where he could be totally irrational at times, especially because we're talking about that square between Gemini and Pisces, which can be particularly crazy. It could cause somebody to think that they're crazy and shit like that. So he definitely is touched in the head. He also has Jupiter in Pisces. Jupiter and the moon are squaring that north node in Sagittarius and the south node and sun in Gemini. So he is off his rocker, off the rails. And then he has Mercury in Cancer. So Mercury in Cancer can be that type of Mercury where if you feel like doing something, even if it doesn't make any sense, you're going to do it. So him having Mercury in Cancer just makes things even worse. And then he has Mercury conjoined to Saturn, which can make him a masochist. And he's done a number of things to hurt himself. He's done a number of degrading things, which is very Mercury conjunct Saturn. Then he has Mars and Leo. Lord have mercy. He has a Thor's hammer aspect pattern, that's part of a big reason why he's so crazy acting, and where he's done messed up a lot of stuff, destroyed things. But that Mars in Leo, that makes him very attention seeking. And he started off being a clown. He actually went to clown school and he became a clown. But he even made enemies being a clown. Like he used to perform on cruise ships, which is very moon and Jupiter in Pisces. So Pisces is clowns, but it's also cruise ships. So he used to perform as a clown with a troupe of clowns on these cruise ships. But because he was so poorly behaved, I mean, he was so wild acting that his coworkers couldn't stand him. And they basically ran him out of there. So yeah, he's just been a problem all the way around. And but surprisingly, he doesn't look too bad considering all that he's gone through, all that he's put himself through, and all that. All right, moving along. Some of y'all might know who this is. Some of y'all may not. See, I got to pull up Wikipedia because I don't know everything about this man. But when I tell you my eyes are telling me not to trust this man, yes. I don't care if y'all think that he's doing a good thing and he's on our side. I believe he is control opposition, which is what they will put out there to make it seem like, oh, not everybody is down with this. Yes, Edward Snowden. There's something up with this dude. So let me just read a little bit about him because And truth be told, he looks like a child predator. You know how some of them just have that look? He got that look. You got that look. Color you peach and black. Color me taking it back. You know, Prince's birthday just passed. Yeah, I was listening to some Prince songs. Rest in peace. And you know, I think Prince got murdered too. Now, you know, Prince had a dark side too. He had a dark side. You know how he was flirting around with the dark side, especially in that Purple Rain album, making people wonder if he was a Satanist and shit, but he was just playing that shit backwards and reverse. So, you know, Gemini can be like that, where they want you to think a certain thing, but they're really not like that. The same with his sexuality. Like Prince, he tried to, you know, have people guessing. Like he would put it in songs. You know, what he said? Am I straight or gay? Controversy. And Prince, you know, he really had that shit with him because he was a Scorpio rising and a Gemini sun. Now, you know, I'm going off on a tangent, but I was waiting for this website to get pulled up. But yeah, Prince had some dark shit to him, but I don't think he was dark sided. He liked to flirt with the dark side, especially when he was young. But I think the older that he started to get, the more he started to like be more on the light side. So Edward Joseph Snowden, born June 21st, 1983, that would make his son at the 29th degree of Gemini. That makes a lot of sense. Let me see, where's his chart? Did I pull his chart? I thought I did. I swear I did. Where he at? I guess I didn't. All right. But anyway, it says he's an American former computer intelligence consultant who leaked highly classified information from the NSA, National Security Agency, in 2013 when he was an employee and subcontractor. So him working for the NSA alone and him coming out with these secrets, but he's still alive, that makes me think he's control opposition and he's really not on our side. His disclosures, oh, thank you so much, Johnny. Johnny, you're feeling better? Good. His disclosures revealed numerous global surveillance programs, many run by the NSA and the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance with the cooperation. Meanwhile, you know, somebody like this that's a Gemini, you really can't trust him. So he's probably working on both sides. Look at them crooked ass glasses. Come on, Ed. See what I mean about Gemini being all disheveled sometimes? Look at that shit. Look at them glasses. Somebody said he lives in Russia now. Okay. So it says many run by the NSA and the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance with the cooperation of telecommunication companies and European governments, and prompted a cultural discussion about national security and individual privacy. This is all convoluted. In 2013, Snowden was hired by an NSA contractor, Booz Allen Hamilton, after previous employment with Dell and the CIA. Snowden says he gradually became disillusioned with the programs with which he was involved and that he tried to raise his ethical concerns through internal channels but was ignored. On May 20th, 2013, Snowden flew to Hong Kong. First of all, I'm not going to read all this, but somebody said he's in Russia right now hiding out. Yeah, right. If they wanted to kill him, remember they killed the McAfee guy. That McAfee guy, he was hiding out for a minute, but they finally caught up to him. I'm like, if Edward Snowden is really on our side, like he really blowing the lid off of this whole NSA thing, I believe they would have executed him by now. I believe they would have deaded him by now, but he's still living. You know, they can find you. It don't matter where you go. And it's not like I don't think he got plastic surgery to change how he looked. You see what I'm saying, Mona, with them crooked glasses? Come on now. He could do a little bit better than that. I mean, I know you're an IT guy and all that, but come on now. He does have that incel look, Siobhan. Yes, he does. But yeah, I would not trust this guy, not as far as I could throw, especially with him being a Gemini. Yes, Geminis are perfect for being a double agent. Yeah, John McAfee didn't kill himself, exactly. All right, moving along. Y'all remember this chick with the Karen haircut? She was the original Karen. Who's that? There is a good documentary about her that tells you the real about this woman. Remember, she tried to act like she wanted everybody to get rich along with her, and she was trying to tell people how to manage money and how to budget money. Well, it came out that this bitch is a fraud. Let me look her up a little bit, spill her tea a little bit. Yeah, Susie Orman. Remember, she was on everybody's talk show like Oprah and everything, and she was basically telling people this is how you make money and stuff like this. And then she came out with that fraudulent debit card that had all those hidden fees and shit. All right, so according to GQ, it says Susie Orman. First of all, it starts off by saying the personal finance industry is a scam. So she was one of the first on the scene with the personal finance gurus. If y'all remember, you had the rich dad, poor dad, Robert Kiyosaki. He started to get big right around the time she was getting big, Susie Orman. So she was like one of the forerunners of this whole personal finance industry guru. So this GQ article says the personal finance industry is a scam. Susie Orman's rant against coffee is the latest in-cable news advice that puts the blame for an increasingly unequal financial system on individuals. In 2004, I met personal finance expert Susie Orman, who's convinced that all we need to do is become millionaires is to quit coffee, after she gave a lecture at the fashion company where I was interning. I was an unpaid legal intern who chosen that internship for its free breakfast. Let me skip forward. What did she do? So basically, she had a bogus debit card program that was charging people a bunch of fees. She was misleading people on investments. A lot of people lost money following her advice about investments. Another thing, like she misled people about retirement accounts. It says, let's face it, the personal finance industry is a scam for those of us who aren't already loaded. But this doesn't really get into her story, though. But check out the documentary. I forget what it's called, but just put in Susie Orman on YouTube and you'll be able to pull it up, because this woman is basically telling you the real about Susie Orman and how she was a scam and a fraud and all that type of stuff. And Gemini has the gift of the gab. So Gemini can be some of the best scammers, some of the best con artists, because they know how to talk. They know how to, convey certain ideas and to get people to buy in and all that type of stuff. I didn't like her attitude either. Here's another one that's very questionable. Now, it hasn't been totally proven that he's on the dark side, but some of his advice and practices have been very questionable. This is when he was a little bit younger. Y'all know who this is? He's been involved in a few scandals as well. Oprah used to love this man. She used to always have him on little segments and stuff. And then he get a show of his own? Dr. Oz. Yeah, that's Dr. Mehmet Oz. First of all, anytime you're a doctor and you're given a high profile job on TV, you already know you probably done compromise your values and your ethics, if you even had any to start with, being a Gemini. But yeah, you can't really trust what this guy tells you, because on one hand, he's pushing the shatas, he's pushing the jab, but he don't have his own children ain't being jabbed. He's that type of guy. So he's telling you to go get it, but he won't give it to his children. So you got to watch people like that. So he doesn't think what's good for the goose is good for the gander. He's very much two-faced in what he touts and all that type of stuff. So yeah. Oh, he's in the political field now. Now that's how you really know that he's on the dark side. Okay, Dr. Oz. Yup, and he probably had a little sacrifice or something, and now he's able to enter the world of politics. Look at those devilish ears he has. He looks like a evil wolf. Don't he look kind of wolf-manish? And the whole thing with the werewolf, that is very Gemini-like. Because the whole werewolf mythology. they're one person, but then when that full moon comes out, they turn into this evil, monstrous, wolf-like character, and they just start tearing shit up. That's very much like Gemini. Also, that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde mythology or story, that's very Gemini as well. All right. I know some of y'all don't want to believe that this man is on the dark side. I know some of y'all might be endeared to him from him being in movies like Lean on Me, playing Joe Clark. But remember, Joe Clark was a mean ass bastard. Y'all probably think he's a decent dude because you liked him in Glory, and you liked him in some other movies where he played like a wise old grandfather and shit like this. But this is one evil motherfucker. I mean, you could see it in his face. And didn't he get with his stepdaughter or step granddaughter or some shit like that? Again, with the Gemini, not giving a fuck. Like, I don't care, that was my wife's daughter or something. I'm going to get with her anyway. Or was it his cousin or something like that? Something crazy. But yeah, I mean, you see all the moles on his face, those skin tags. I mean, they're there for a reason. Those are warts, like he's a frog. But yeah, I do not trust this guy. And what I thought, yeah, he's always, thank you. I was about to say the same thing. Yes, Tushy Time. I love that name, Tushy Time. He is always playing God, acting like he's some type of high and mighty figure. Yes. But then if you ask him in an interview, he'd be like, I don't believe in God. But yeah, he is a mean ass bastard. You could tell. Yeah. And yes, he did. He played in, oh yeah, you think he's sweet because he played in Driving Miss Daisy and all this type of stuff. But yeah, he looks like he was born old. But he goes way back. That's how he done sold his soul early on. Wasn't he in like the electric company and shit? And then he moved on. He played this pimp where he was smacking this woman up in the 70s. And then next thing you know, he's smacking kids up and Lean on Me in the 80s. Then in the 90s, he played some dark-sided role. But after that, they started to clean up his roles a little bit. And he started to play the old wise man and shit like that. But I wasn't buying it. I am not buying it. Hell no. Nah. And I hate his teeth too. He got them old Southern man teeth. You know what I'm saying? Just next time you look at Morgan Freeman, look at his bottom row teeth. Because it's just like one of them old Southern men. And you know how them teeth be moving in their mouth and shit? They be all skinny and jammed together. Yeah, he got them bottom teeth like that. But yeah, his days are numbered. So he better get right with God. That's all I'm saying. Your days are numbered, Morgan. Okay. Some of y'all know who this is. Hasn't he had a bunch of scandals? Isn't he a little nasty something? James Charles, right? I feel like this chat is slow. Let me put James Charles scandal. People started off loving this guy and then they ended up hating him. Okay, so here we go. Grooming allegations. So he's been accused of grooming. If y'all don't know who James Charles is, the one that's doing the tuck game right there, it looked like he got booty implants. Look at that. That don't look natural, the way his butt blends with the thigh. But anyway, he's been accused of grooming an underage boy. You said, where is his hand? It's in his, it's playing with his junk. So in February 2021, a 16-year-old boy named Isaiah posted a video to TikTok alleging that Charles groomed him by sending him nude photos and pressuring him into sexting with him despite knowing his age. And remember, I told you Gemini can rationalize just about anything. So in their mind, if they feel like you look 18 and you could play with the big boys, they're going to rationalize it in their head some way, some shape or form. A lot of times when Gemini does wrong, they know exactly what they're doing. They know they're doing wrong because they're conscious of it. So they're very woke, if you get what I'm saying. So he knew exactly what he was doing, grooming that 16-year-old boy. And this is just one boy that's come out. You know he's done it in probably a number of occasions. But yeah, and he is not cute. I don't care how much MAC or Maybelline or Fenty or whatever the hell you got on your face. No, you were not cute. So, all right, moving along. Of course, we have to put the Donald up in here, but he's damn sure not part of the darkest of the Geminis. You know, he got his dark sided ways. First of all, you can't be president of the United States unless you got some dirt on you. I strongly believe that. So, you know, Donald Trump is going to be on my list. Love him or hate him, he's a dark-sided Gemini. Let's be true. I mean, let's be real. I don't believe he's as dark-sided as Joe Biden is, but Donald Trump is dark-sided nonetheless. And actually, I believe, because one time I watched this documentary on Donald Trump, especially like his early days when he was a real estate tycoon, and the way they made it seem without coming out and saying it, I think Donald Trump was wrapped up into the big drug game back in the 80s. I think that's how he was able to get all those Trump towers and Trump casinos and all that type of stuff. You know how the crack era and all that with the CIA. You know, Bill Clinton, I better watch what I say, but Bill Clinton, when he was governor of Arkansas, he was wrapped up into the drug trafficking shit too. And I believe Donald Trump came up in the real estate game by, you know, being connected to some of these major drug runners and all this type of stuff. And yeah, so don't ever think these people, you know, made their way to the top by hard work and grit and ingenuity and business savvy. Now, he got into the construction industry through his father. Somebody mentioned his father, but his father was probably crooked too. Yes. So, speaking of morals and ethics, Donald Trump does have a Sagittarius moon. So he could have some degree of morals and ethics, especially in terms of how he feels about America. So some of what he says about America could be very true. Like he really does, you know, care about the freedom of this nation and all this stuff. But let's not get it mixed up. He was the one who had the hold on. Hello? Hey. Yeah, I'll be done probably in like the next half hour to 40 minutes. Okay. All right, thanks. All right. All right. And of course, why can't I find his chart? So I must have it in the but Donald Trump, he might have some degree of morals or ethics with that Sag moon, but I believe he could easily be compromised. And you just can't trust somebody that's high up and they're a Gemini like that. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Let's not forget, he's the one that came out with the Operation Warp Speed before Biden took over. That's why you really got to look at Trump with the side eye and really say, okay, are you really for the people? He's a Leo rising. Donald Trump is a Leo rising. Why can't I find his chart? That's so strange. Hold on. Let me look at celebrities again. Because I know I have his chart. Trump. I have Melania Trump. Where's the Donald? Oh, well. I've gotten into his chart before, and I don't got time right now. Let me see. That is weird that I don't have him when I did before. All right. Let me see. Business. He might be in business. It is hot. Oh my goodness. I'm not ready for this summer. It's not even summertime yet. Okay, here's the Donald. So Donald Trump, yes, he has moon conjoined to the South Node in Sagittarius. So he might have some degree of morals and ethics. And again, he might really do care about this nation in terms of our freedoms and stuff, but not that much. he was still basically doing what his masters wanted him to do. But yeah, he's a Leo rising with Mars rising, but it's in the 12th house. That 12th house Mars, he could easily be compromised in that way as well. So yeah. All right, next on the list, we have, oh, still talking about Donald Trump, but guess who else is a dark-sided Gemini? The one that's pictured with him, Rudy Giuliani. So here's a picture of Rudy Giuliani in drag, chilling with Donald Trump from back in the day. I think this was in the 90s, probably early 90s, it looks like. And yeah, this just shows that, you know, two peas in a pod. A lot of those men up at the top do like to cross dress. They get cross dressed in their Masonic meetings and stuff. And, you know, they go to Bohemian Grove and cross dress and do all that stuff. So Rudy Giuliani was just being his true self. If you don't know who Rudy Giuliani is, he was the mayor of New York City at one time. So, you know, to be a mayor of a major city like New York, you know, you got to be corrupt anyway. So, yeah. Definitely on some corrupt shit, definitely on some dark-sided shit. And Rudy Giuliani, he just always struck me as a racist. He really did. All right, moving along. Now, you know he's on the dark side. But he's not totally to blame because he was raised on the dark side through his mother, Gloria Vanderbilt. And basically, I've read somewhere that she was an open Satanist. I don't know how true that is, but she did have this evil ass look. Let me just pull him up with his mother. Hold on. And I didn't know that she was dating Gordon Parks. Y'all know who Gordon Parks is? Gloria Vanderbilt had some jungle fever in her. Here she is with her, I think that's, okay, here she is with Anderson Cooper. And y'all tell me if she don't look a little kooky and dark-sided herself. So I'm about to pull up a picture of Anderson Cooper and his mom. His mom was just real kooky. But yeah, she got with Gordon Parks, who was this black celebrity photographer back in the day when it wasn't fashionable to get with a black man. So I was like, that's kind of interesting. But there's Anderson Cooper as a young boy. Now, Gloria Vanderbilt had another son. So Anderson had a brother, but he jumped out of a 10-story window, or I forget how many stories up it was, to his death. So he committed suicide. Mona, I was going to add Andy Cohen because he can be real messy, but I don't see Andy as being very dark-sided, though. He's just messy and he's about drama, but I really don't get that dark-sided vibe from Andy, but I could be wrong. I mean, he is big on Bravo, like he's basically responsible for all those shows, or at least he, does the interviews with them and all that stuff. Yeah, she dated Gordon Parks, and for a while, too. Until they were like up in age, old age with each other. Yes, Willow, you know about it. Yep. So, but just look at Gloria Vanderbilt. She has that dark-sided look. So I wouldn't be surprised if she was a Satanist, and basically Anderson Cooper, he really didn't have a choice. But yeah, I believe that she probably talked her son into jumping out that window because it happened while she was there. Something just don't add up with this whole situation with them. But here's Anderson Cooper. If you just look, first of all, he got them I was about to say chinky, but I don't, I'm trying to be politically correct. He got those squinty Gemini eyes, those eyes that look like slits. And that's very characteristic of Gemini. But Anderson Cooper just has that cold, severe, austere look. Looks like he doesn't have a beating heart in his body. Looks like he just looks cold and cruel, and it looked like he into that dark sexual stuff. Don't he look like he'd be into that S&M? Do I have his chart? Hold on, let's see. I know Anderson Cooper is into that like dark dungeon type of sex. He just strikes me as that type. Like he likes to get filthy too. Okay, I don't have his chart in my files and I don't feel like pulling it. So we'll just move along, but y'all get what I'm saying. Now, him being a reporter, journalist makes a lot of sense because Gemini rules reporters, journalists, anchor people, people in the media, all that type of stuff. I'm done with you, Mona. You said he does give Kim. He does, doesn't he? Like he likes to get dressed up in the latex and all that type of stuff. Where the only way he gets air is to open up that zipper where his mouth is. That weird shit. I'm almost certain he's into that. So I did him years ago. Thank you, New Eyes, for keeping track. All right. Thanks for keeping me in line. All right, next we have, okay, we starting to get darker now. We heading into darker territory. Oh my God. Talk about a face only a mother could love. Lord, do you see that? Do y'all know who this is? So now we getting into the really dark territory. And I think I did pull his chart. Let me just read a little bit about, I got his chart. So I'm going to read a little bit about this guy. But does anybody know who that is? Yes, Berkowitz, son of Sam. So let me pull up his story real quick. We're going to find out a little bit about this dark side of Gemini. All right, so David Richard Berkowitz, born Richard David Falco, June 1st, 1953, also known as the Son of Sam and 44 caliber killer, is an American serial killer who pleaded guilty to 8 shootings that began in New York City on July 29th, the 29th, y'all, 1976. Berkowitz grew up in New York City and served in the United States Army. That's a red flag right there because they be using some of these military people as mind control slaves. And he did speak out and say that, he wasn't operating alone with these murders. So, using a 44 special caliber bulldog revolver, he killed 6 people and wounded 7 others by July 1977. The killing spree terrorized New Yorkers and gained worldwide notoriety. Berkowitz eluded the biggest police manhunt in the history of New York City while leaving letters that mocked the police and promised further crimes, which were highly publicized by the press. Berkowitz was arrested on August 10, 1977, and subsequently indicted for 8 shootings. He confessed to all of them and initially claimed to have been obeying the orders of a demon manifested in the form of a dog belonging to his neighbor, Sam. That's deep. Let me read that part again. He confessed to all of them and initially claimed to have been obeying the orders of a demon manifested in the form of a dog belonging to his neighbor, Sam. That sounds like some Pluto and Virgo shit. All right, let me look at his chart real quick. So, Son of Sam, he actually had Pluto in Leo and was making a quincunx with his Chiron in Capricorn. That seems like that could be something dealing with the military where he could have been part of a military experiment. I mean, he does have his moon conjoined to the Aquarius North Node. That could deal with him being part of an experiment. Let me see. He has Sun conjunct Jupiter, which could deal with where he was following some type of doctrine, following some type of belief system. And I think he did come forward and said that he was part of a group of Satanists or something like that. He does have Saturn conjoined to Neptune and Libra, which can manifest as that satanic group or influence. And then Saturn and Neptune are opposing Venus and Aries. So that's like him getting pinned with the crimes, even though it could have been done by a group of people. He has Mercury conjoined to Mars and Gemini. And that could deal with him being very outspoken about what he did. Because I think he did do a number of interviews and stuff. So let me just read forward. So it said he pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was found guilty and was sentenced to 6 consecutive life sentences with possibility of parole after 25 years in state prison. He subsequently admitted that the dog and devil story was a hoax. In the course of further police investigations, Berkowitz was also implicated in many unsolved arsons in the city. That's at Venus and Aries. Intense media coverage of the case lent a kind of celebrity status to Berkowitz, which many observers noted that he seemed to enjoy. And that's that Leo South Node, the celebrity status that he's enjoying. So his Jupiter is in sextile with the Leo South Node, so that's him enjoying the celebrity status that he was given. In response, the New York State legislature enacted new statutes known popularly as Son of Sam laws, designed to keep criminals from financially profiting from the publicity created by their crimes. The statutes have remained law in New York despite various legal challenges, and similar laws have been enacted in several other states. So during the mid-1990s, he amended his confession and claimed that he had been a member of a violent satanic cult that orchestrated the incidents as ritual murder. A few law enforcement authorities have said that his claims might be credible, but he remains the only person ever charged with the shootings. That Pluto, Quincunx, Chiron, and Capricorn could deal with the satanic influence as well. I believe him. I believe he wasn't acting alone, especially with what's in his chart. So he's one of the serial killers that I have on my list for the dark-sided Gemini. Moving along, we have another serial killer. This guy is the Unabomber. Thank you, Sun Tarot. Thank you so much for your super chat. I'm glad you're enjoying the live stream. So, do y'all remember who this guy is? What's he known for? Or what's his nickname? Again, another Gemini, dark-sided Gemini, looking all disheveled. Looking like he just crawled out of a dumpster. Anybody know who that is? Somebody said he looked like a caveman. Yeah, Versatile, you got it. That's Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. So the Unabomber, wasn't he putting bombs in people's mailboxes and people will open up the mailbox to get blown up? The whole mailbox theme is very Gemini. So let me just talk about the Unabomber for a minute. His story, Ted Kaczynski. And again, he's one of them Geminis that has these ideas in his head and he acts on these ideas. He was this fervent. I was listening to a video of this book that he wrote earlier today. I got bored with it, so I turned the video off. I was like, he wasn't that interesting. But didn't he start off as a college professor? And then he had these ideas about how this country was becoming too industrialized. And then he started to want to make some changes, radical changes. And next thing you know, he's blowing people up. So Theodore John Kaczynski, also known as the Unabomber, is an American domestic terrorist and former mathematics professor. So you'll have a lot of Geminis are good at math. So it makes sense that he was a mathematics professor. He was a mathematics prodigy, but abandoned his academic career in 1969. See, some Geminis are too smart for their own good, and their mind will start to basically, cannibalize itself, you can say. Between 1978 and 1995, he killed 3 people and injured 23 others in a nationwide bombing campaign against people he believed to be advancing modern technology and the destruction of the environment. He issued a social critique, rejecting leftism, opposing industrialization, and advocating a nature-centered form of anarchism. All right, let me talk about his crime. So let me see. So he moved to a remote cabin without electricity or running water near Lincoln, Montana. Did I pull his chart? Let me see. I don't think I had time to pull his chart. I might do a separate case study on him, but let me just read on. He witnessed the destruction of the wilderness surrounding his cabin and concluded that living in nature was becoming impossible. He resolved to fight industrialization and its destruction of nature through terrorism, beginning his bombing campaign in 1978. In 1995, he sent a letter to the New York Times and promised to desist from terrorism if the Times or the Washington Post published his essay. See, he just wanted to get his essay published. And he went through all this bombing people and shit because at the end of the day, he was a writer. He wasn't getting no attention for his writings. So he going to strong arm the media to force them to publish his essay. What a loser. But anyway, the New York Times, so in 1995, he sent a letter to the New York Times and promised to desist from terrorism if the Times or the Washington Post published his essay, Industrial Society and Its Future, in which he argued that his bombings were extreme but necessary. Again, you see how Gemini will rationalize any type of behavior, dark-sided Gemini, that is. So he's saying he knows the bombings are extreme, but, because Gemini always has a but necessary to attract attention to the erosion of human freedom and dignity by modern technologies that require mass organization. Kaczynski was the subject of the longest and most expensive investigation in the history of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Probably because he wouldn't shut the hell up. You know how Geminis just keep talking. Now, the FBI used the case identifier Unabomber to refer to his case before his identity was known, which resulted in the media naming him the Unabomber. The FBI and Attorney General Janet Reno, remember her? She was sure a looker. Pushed for the publication of Industrial Society and Its Future, which appeared in the Washington Post in September 1995. Upon reading the essay, Kaczynski's brother, David, recognized the prose style and reported his suspicions to the FBI. After his arrest in 1996, Kaczynski, maintaining that he was sane, tried and failed to dismiss his court-appointed lawyers because they wanted him to plead insanity to avoid the death penalty. But that's the thing. Him being a Gemini, you know he wasn't crazy. He was thinking clearly, but his thinking was just all screwed up. All right, moving along. Next, we have this creepy fellow. Does anybody know who this is? Like I said, now we headed into the darker territory. These dark-sided Geminis are wearing me out. I'm like, damn. I believe that, Kawhi. Janet Reno was, oh, God. Yes, Mickey. So, Versatile said Mr. Rogers. No, he's actually the opposite. He the shadow side of Mr. Rogers. So, yes, that's Jack Kevorkian. He was Dr. Death. He basically got arrested because he was killing people that were terminally ill, and that was against the law. But he was doing it anyway. And again, Gemini and their rationalizations. Him rationalizing that it's okay to kill people because they're in pain or whatever. Now, the older I get, Mona, you said Mr. Rogers was evil. I don't want to believe that. But the older I get, the more I can understand how somebody who's in a lot of pain, and especially if they're near the end of their life, let's say somebody that's 95 years old, you know, they're in a lot of pain. They don't have much faculties left. They could barely communicate and shit. I'm kind of supportive of allowing the person to die with dignity and in a peaceful way if they're ready. Like, why force a person to continue to suffer? But this crazy motherfucker was just killing people willy-nilly. Some of them might have been 17 years old for all we know. But let's get into this story real quick, because he did end up getting arrested. And he was convicted of murder. So Murad Jacob Jack Kevorkian was an American pathologist and euthanasia proponent. He publicly championed a terminal patient's right to die by physician-assisted suicide, embodied in his quote, "Dying is not a crime. Yeah, but murder is." Kevorkian said that he assisted at least 130 patients to that end. Again, do you see how Geminis can rationalize shit? He said dying is not a crime. But the thing is, you can die in a number of ways. You can be murdered, which results in dying, and murdering is a crime. But in his mind, he's like, it's all death at the end of the day, and I'm not doing anything wrong. Kevorkian said that he assisted at least 130 patients to that end. See, he got carried away with this shit. He was convicted of murder in 1999 and was often portrayed in the media with the name of Dr. Death. There was support for his cause, and he helped set the platform for reform. In 1997, Kevorkian was arrested and tried for his direct role in a case of voluntary euthanasia on a man named Thomas Uke, who had Lou Gehrig's disease, or ALS. He was convicted of second-degree murder and served 8 years of a 10 to 25-year prison sentence. He was released on parole on June 1st, 2007, on condition he would not offer advice about, participate in, or be present at the act of any type of euthanasia. Now, you know he did not keep his mouth shut after that. That's impossible for a Gemini to do. As soon as he got out of prison, he probably hopped on the phone and was like, yeah, all you have to do is get some strychnine. You know, I can't come and assist you anymore, but I'm going to tell you the quick and painless way how to do it. You know, he was right on the phone coaching these people how to end their lives. So let me see. Did he have a wife? So he struggled with kidney problems. He was diagnosed with liver cancer, which may have been caused by hepatitis C. According to his long-term friend Neil, Kevorkian was hospitalized on May 18, 2011. So he basically died of kidney failure, it looks like, and also thrombosis. But it doesn't talk about his marriage or anything. So I'm looking at personal life. Interesting. He's a strange character. But again, Gemini will rationalize any behavior. So he didn't see anything wrong with what he was doing. Here's another dark-sided Gemini. Do y'all know who this is? And some of y'all might not want to believe that this person was on the dark side, but I remember reading a book, and this lady was talking about satanic ritual abuse that happened to her when she was young. And she named this guy as one of the perpetrators. And I never forgot about that. That book was called Thanks for the Memories, I think, by Bryce Taylor. I think that was her name. Isn't he scary? Thanks, New Eyes, for your super chat. Yeah, his face is melting off. You said, can having Mercury rule in my chart in the third make me rationalize anything too? In some cases, yeah, but it's really going to deal with what sign Mercury's in. But you could rationalize. But I think you're a Virgo rising, right? So it's not like you have like if you were a Gemini rising with Mercury in the third, then I'd be like, yeah, you're going to be just like them Geminis. But with you, on the other hand, you got a little different hookup. So not necessarily, but there could be times where you do, especially if you really want to do something, but you know it's wrong, but you might rationalize it anyway. Did anybody get who that is? Bob Hope. Yes, Adrian got it. So some of y'all might have known of Bob Hope. He basically was popular back in the day, but he was like a comedian and like, actor and stuff like that. But yeah, he was named or implicated in being a predator in this woman's story of satanic ritual abuse. And I believe her, the way she describes it and everything. And I never looked at Bob Hope the same after that. And he has strong connections to the military. So I wouldn't be surprised. He looked kind of desperate in the eyes. Why did you notice them predators always have this desperation look in the eyes? Y'all know what I'm talking about? It's like they got this hungry, desperate look in their eyes. Like it is some wild animal inside them that just wants to jump out and attack some little kid. All right, next, we only got a few more. I got to get ready and go anyway. Here's another Gemini. I mean, we're talking about Cretan, Goblin. I guess Goblin would be the best word to describe this guy. But, I mean, come on. If evil had a face, This would be it right here. Like, you look up evil in the Merriam-Webster dictionary and you just might see a picture of this creature. I mean, is this even human? No, that's not George Soros, but George Soros is basically just as ugly. But that's not George Soros. Yes, Mona, that is Rockefeller. David Rockefeller. He's dead now. But isn't he the one that had like 6 heart transplants? This man was so evil that the heart would just die out after a while. He had like 6 heart transplants before it was all said and done. I mean, evil, reptilian, dark-sided Gemini. I mean, this is why I'm saving him for some of the last, because like I said, this is a gradient and he's on the darker end of the Gemini spectrum. Roman said he looks like he needs to be cremated already, right? And this is when he was living. Damn. Versatile said Dave Rockefeller after having like 7 transplants. Yes. So evil, that heart wouldn't even be able to last. Probably when he was close to the end, the heart would probably only last like 6 weeks and shit. All right, moving along. So we got David Rockefeller. Here's another dark-sided Gemini. Some of y'all might know who this is. I mean, he looks like a crumpled up piece of paper. I mean, he just looks ran through. But this is what happens when you devote your life to evil, to doing evil deeds. You end up looking like this. Like a crumpled up piece of Play-Doh or silly putty. It's like their skin just starts melting off of them. Yes, that's Henry Kissinger, another evil one that has been shaping world policy for decades. And you know, he used to be married to Gloria Steinem, the leader of the women's liberation movement, basically, back in the 70s. That's why I don't trust that Gloria Steinem either. Yeah, he looked like a rotten Mr. Potato Head. Like, he looked like a piece of rotten fruit, especially citrus. You know how citrus will start getting all wrinkly and like out of misshapen and shit, like a moldy orange or a lemon that's going bad. You know how it just starts to get all wrinkled and shriveled up? That's what he looked like, a piece of rotten ass fruit. And you know he was stinking too, just making messes in his pants by the time. Is he still alive? Hold on, let me see if this old creature has croaked yet. Just a nasty something. He's still alive, it looks like. He's 99 years old, y'all. He's about to make it to 100 with his evil ass. Well, you know, evil must do a body good, but not that damn good, because he looked like shit. You said a rotten sweet potato. Yeah, that's basically about what he looks like. Yup. Uh-huh. Mr. Peanut on crack. That's what he looked like. He's just wow. But anyway, we got a few more for you for the dark end of the dark-sided Gemini spectrum. Y'all remember this motherfucker, right? Look at that face. What the hell has he been doing with his life? But I'm going to tell you what that look is. That's a look of a drinker's face. That's somebody that be hitting a bottle hard. And I guess you would, because you're responsible for a lot of women and children being dead with your policies, and you being such a war hawk. Them Bushes, they loved war. You know, this is the daddy, George Bush Sr. He was the real evil Dr. Evil one, but George Bush Jr., I did find him kind of funny. He was amusing, but this man oozed evil. And he was the one who coined the phrase. Well, he didn't coin it, but he was the one who came out with it when he was talking about we want a new world order. And you know, Gemini doesn't have a filter, so he just came right out with it, talking about new world order, this and all that type of stuff, just running his damn mouth, having no morals, no ethics, nothing. And you know, he started off being the head of the CIA. I mean, that's Gemini all day. Central Intelligence Agency, especially the intelligence part. So you know he knows all the tea on everybody. But yeah. George Bush Jr., I think he's a Cancer, ain't he? Yeah, he's a Cancer, if I'm not mistaken. And you could definitely see the difference between the two. But yeah. And then we have his female counterpart, this bitch. She's a Gemini too. Barbara Bush. Hey Marley, how you doing? Now you know Barbara Bush's dark side, and you know she giving that Gemini side eye look at her. She's like, bitch, don't you know I can make you disappear? That's what she's looking at that person saying. But yeah, Barbara Bush, another evil one. Now, some people have speculated that Aleister Crowley was her father. And I kind of believe it because she looks a lot like him. Like Aleister Crowley was known as the wickedest man to have lived. He was known as the Beast 666. And some people are speculating that that was her father. And I would not be surprised. But yeah, she is. I mean, come on now. You know she was a bitch on wheels when those Bush boys were growing up. All right. Couple of more and then we got to get out of here. Of course, we can't close out tonight without talking about this lovely individual. So everybody should know who he is at this point, at this gesture, or what would you call juncture? Juncture. Good old Jeffrey Dahmer, the cannibal. And knew I said, my guy. Jeffrey Dahmer, you know, him being a Gemini really helped him, you know, lure those young guys to his apartment because he had the gift of the gab. He even knew what to say to the police that time that they brought that little Asian boy back to the apartment. Asian boy running out the damn apartment with his ass bleeding. Like, this was a true story. One of his victims got away and was running down the street naked, bleeding from the ass and everything. He finds a couple of cops and he's saying, this man is trying to kill me. They say, where does this man live? He tells them the address to Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment. They knock on the door. Jeffrey Dahmer, so slick with his mouth, got the gift of the gab, that he is able to convince the police that that's his lover, and they just got into an argument. They just had a little lover spat. So what did the cops do? They basically left the boy alone with Jeffrey Dahmer again, and then Jeffrey Dahmer commences to killing this guy. So Gemini, again, they can make great serial killers. Number one, because they have that gift of the gab. They're very crafty, very clever, and they don't have a moral compass that's going to get in the way of them trying to do evil deeds. So he had his way with young guys for quite a while before it caught up to him. And it might have caught up to him because he just got tired. He got tired of trying to hide and try to keep up a lie and all that type of stuff. And being a mutable sign, they could keep on going on and on until they just burn out or they're stopped by an outside force. But I think somebody did escape and was able to basically drop the dime on Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, let me pull up his chart. I'm almost certain I got his chart in my files. And I've talked about him before, but just to have a little refresher course on old Jeffrey. And y'all know how he met his end, right? He got murdered in prison. I believe that murder was a hit because he did kill a number of young black guys. And I believe somebody that was one of the black victims' family, they basically was like, go handle that in prison. And then boom. Next thing you know, he getting shanked in prison. He got killed. So yeah, I believe somebody set that up from the outside. Yup. And they took care of him. Oh, I'm gonna play this one thing that, oh my God, it just tears me to pieces every time I see it. I'm gonna have to play this for y'all. Hold on. Because this basically proves that, and she probably did it herself. This woman that's yelling at Jeffrey Dahmer during the trial. Oh my God, this tears me up so bad every time I see it because I could just feel her pain. I hope I can find it. Where is it? Okay, is this it? Oh yeah. Oh my God, I'm starting to get the chills just seeing her. Cause that's how I would probably be if somebody like Jeffrey killed one of my loved ones. I'm just letting y'all know I would probably act a fool like that too. I'd probably leap over the desk and choke the person out. So let me just get to that part. Cause like this is one of those things like, okay, like where you can't make this shit up. This is like true emotion that this woman is displaying. And yeah, you can't blame her for acting the way she did. Let me bring it back.
For the judge. Once order was restored, Dahmer spoke publicly for the first time. I feel so.
Yeah, I just wanted to play that because again, that much emotion, I'm pretty sure if she had it her way, she would have orchestrated that hit herself where he got killed behind bars. But yeah, oh my God, that like touches my heart so bad because like I could feel her pain, like that shit right there. Yeah, yeah, she was ready to rip his heart out, like for real. If she would have got her hands on him, she probably would have killed him with her bare hands. But yeah, I would flip out like that too if I knew that somebody killed my family member and in a way like that, in a gruesome way. Thank you, Avis, for your super chat. I'll get to your question in a minute. I'm almost done. So let me just talk about some of the more gruesome aspects in Jeffrey Dahmer's chart. So number one, he has a Pisces South Node. Oh my God, he has so many aspects. Look, I'm gonna show y'all this because you don't see this all the time. You don't see this every day with somebody's chart. I want y'all to see all the fuckery in his chart in terms of these aspects. Look at all this stuff in the middle. All of these are aspects. I mean, this man was just a mess mentally. It's not even easy to make out some of the aspect patterns, but it does look like he got a kite in his chart. He got a grand trine, which is included in that kite. Look like he got some yods, Thor's hammer, T squares, of course, grand cross. He got all the aspect patterns you can ask for. He got the Mars and Aries, which can just make him prone to violence and, you know, where he just wants to hurt somebody. He has Mars and Aries, quincunx, Neptune, and Scorpio, which can cause him to have some demonic attachment, might even be demonic possession in some cases. But with the quincunx, it's like he can willfully give himself over to those demonic urges. That also makes me think when he had a mannequin in his closet as a young boy, that was real strange. Now he had Venus in Taurus is at the 22nd degree, and that could deal with him having strange eating habits, especially with it being in the eighth house. And he was a cannibal. He was starting to eat pieces of his victim's flesh. And with that sun in the eighth, Mercury in the eighth, he was just naturally prone to lean towards the dark side, especially since we're talking about Gemini. So he probably was exposed to dark sided material, whether it was scenes of murder or porn or whatever from an early age and got corrupted that way. He has an Aries moon, which makes him just prone to violence and wanting to hurt somebody as well. He has some strong Capricorn energy with Jupiter and Saturn in Capricorn, which can make him very much satanic or just like an ultra materialist. Mars square in Jupiter, he could go too far with his sadism, being sadistic. He had Sun square Pluto. I told y'all about that Sun square Pluto that could be death surrounds you. So he's living with all these corpses. And that is an aspect of a murderer. Not everybody that has Sun square Pluto will murder people, but it could happen. He has one of those depraved aspects that I talk about with the deal breaker aspects. He has Sun square Chiron. He also has Mercury square Pluto, which could deal with his mind could be corrupted and he could have some dark, very dark, murderous thoughts. I mean, he is just a hot mess. I mean, it's no wonder he turned out the way he did. I mean, you could just go on and on about some of the crazy aspects in his chart. Couple of more, and then I'm gonna do these super chats, and then I'm gonna get out of here. All right. A lot of y'all probably won't know who this guy is, but he's from way, 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 way back in the day. This is the Marquis de Sade. Oh, wait. I'm not sharing my screen. Some of y'all might have seen some films based upon his life, but he's the father of sadomasochism. He was this straight up pervert, just sexual deviant. And he was so sexually deviant that he ended up being locked up in an insane asylum, and supposedly he started corrupting some of the prison workers or the asylum workers and stuff. And there's this story called Quills about his life. That movie is dark. I remember watching it. I've seen it a couple of times. I don't think I want to watch it ever again. But that movie in and of itself was gross. And I think I think Kate Winslet was in Quills. Some of y'all might have saw that movie, but Marquis de Sade, he was a Gemini, very dark-sided Gemini, very much into S&M type sex and torture and using, excrement in sex and all that type of stuff. I mean, he was one of the most disgusting, depraved individuals. Now, I don't think I have his chart up here yet, though. I might have to just do a separate reading on Marquis de Sade because it's a lot to talk about. But let me just pull up his background. He was a writer too. So his writings were very pornographic and very what's the word? Lowbrow and just debauched. He was very much about debauchery and he was hedonistic and all that. Thank you for your super chat, Kawhi. I'll get to your question in a minute. All right, Marquis de Sade. He wrote 120 Days of Sodom, and a person made a book based upon that. I mean, not a book, a movie based upon that book. That movie, 120 Days of Sodom, I refuse to watch because it has some very disgusting scenes in it. So he was born June 2nd, 1740. So he was a French nobleman, revolutionary politician, philosopher and writer famous for his literary depictions of a largely imagined libertine sexuality. His works include novels, short stories, plays, dialogues, and political tracts. In his lifetime, some of these were published under his own name, while others, which Sade denied having written, appeared anonymously. He got that Gemini look too in this old picture. Sade is best known for his erotic works, which combine philosophical discourse with pornography, depicting sexual fantasies with an emphasis on violence, suffering, anal sex, which he calls sodomy, crime, and blasphemy against Christianity. He was a proponent of absolute freedom, unrestrained by morality. Y'all see what I mean with Gemini? Unrestrained by morality, religion, or law. The words sadism and sadist are derived in reference to the works of fiction he wrote, which portrayed numerous acts of sexual cruelty. While Sade mentally explored a wide range of sexual deviations, his known behavior includes only the beating of a housemaid and an orgy with several prostitutes, behavior significantly departing from the clinical definition of sadism. Sade was a proponent of the free public brothels paid for by the state in order to both prevent crimes in society that are motivated by lust and to reduce the desire to oppress others using one's own power. All right. So that's Marquis de Sade. Yes, he was a regular demon, a common demon, and Gemini is a common sign. And we have another one, Wayne. Is it Wayne Williams? The one that was implicated or charged in the Atlanta murders. Now, I plan on doing a separate reading about him. Now, let me see if I pulled his chart. I don't think I did. And I got to get ready and get out of here anyway. So, yeah, I might be doing a separate reading about him, but he was convicted of some of the Atlanta murders. Thank you, Nikki, for your super chat. Let me know if you have any questions. Post your question underneath your super chat if you have a question. But thank you for that, and I'll get to it in a minute. So he's another one, and he got those Gemini eyes. What's this guy's name? Allen Ginsberg, child predator. He was part of the beatnik generation and the hippie movement and stuff. Real weirdo type of guy. Who else we got? John Hinckley, the one that was stalking Jodie Foster, and also he tried to shoot Ronald Reagan. So that's my list of dark-sided Geminis. I think there's enough of them for y'all to really get the idea of how dark they can become. All right, so let me get my cards, and I'm going to do the super chat questions. I'm also going to check my email, and I gotta go soon, so I can't do too many. Okay, good. Oh no, that's old. Hold on. For some reason, thank you, Angel. Let me see. Did you post a question? Earth Angel. Thank you for your Cash App. Let me know if you have any questions about for your Cash App. And then let me see. The first person, we got Avis. Is that so? Avis, I think you're the first one. Oh, New Eyes. We already answered New Eyes. And I think Avis is next. Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to love me forever? Oh, oh, oh. Because we're not caught in a hit and run. So you said, do you see a new love interest in my life soon? Okay. Will there be a new love interest in your life soon? Straight up now, tell me, is it going to be you and me together? Oh, oh, oh. Or are you just having fun? Who sang that song? All right, let's see. Real love. I'm searching for a real love. So I don't see nobody coming into your life soon, because it looks like anybody that comes into your life, you're going to be striking them down right away, because you're going to be able to see right away, because I got the 5 of Swords followed by the Death card. You're going to be able to see right away that these guys are a waste of time. So it might take some time for you to find someone. I don't see that happening this year. It probably won't happen next year either. But maybe 2024 will be your year for you to find that love interest. But in terms of soon, I don't see that happening. But it's probably for a good reason. So don't look at it in a bad light. Thank you, Kawhi. You said, do you see me passing this current class and getting a degree in forensics psychology? All right, let's see. So you're going to be doing all that extensive research into like crime and all that stuff. Will you pass this current class? First, I'm going to see if you're going to pass this current class, and then I'll see, will you get a degree in forensic psychology? Because I don't know if you mean like all you got to do is pass that class to get the degree. So I'll treat it as a 2-part question. So it looks like you're going to pass the class, and it looks like you will get the degree in forensic psychology, because I got the 7 of Cups. That's forensic psychology right there. And I got the Knight of Cups for passing the class. So looks like you're going to do really well. So I'm happy for you, Kawhi. All right, Nikki Nick, I don't know if you have a question, but I'll look for it. Thank you for your super chat. Angela, thank you for your super chat. You said, it's the guy I'm interested in, have genuine feelings. Thank you for your super sticker, Miss Tip. Oh, I see your question, Nikki Nick. I'll get to it in a minute. Does this guy have genuine feelings? I got the world card, so that's genuine feelings, but only to a certain extent. So it would depend on like what you mean by genuine. Like, I don't know if you're talking about love or just like or whatever, but I will say he wants to continue on, like he wants to continue what he started with you. All right, Nikki Nick, you said, will my ex and my friend last in their relationship? Your ex and your friend. Yes, I'm being petty. He's a Gemini and she's a Pisces. So your friend got with your ex? Sound like she being the petty one. So will your ex and your friend last in the relationship? You know, them Pisces women, they, some of them, not all of them, but they could steal your man. So I'm not surprised. They're on their way out. They are not going to work. So you might want to start heating up some chicken soup for her already, and get the Kleenex ready and shit, get the warm blanket, because she might end up on your couch crying her eyes out talking about, I'm sorry, can we be friends again, I didn't mean to take your man and he wasn't shit and I see why you didn't want him. But yeah, that shit ain't gonna work. It is not gonna work. So hopefully that makes you feel better. What the hell was that? All right, Miss Tiff, let me see. Yes, remember Paula Abdul? Straight up now, tell me. Remember, he's a cold-hearted snake. All right, let me see. Melanated Sun, thank you for your super chat. You said pull a card from my past, future, and present. So you want the past, then you want the future, then you want the present. So I'll do it in that order. Wait a minute, who's Wayne? Little Wayne? Is that who we talking about? So you said past, future, present. Past, I got the Page of Swords. That means you was not having it. Future, I got the Ten of Pentacles. That seems like you're going to basically have a new friend come into your life, but that can also deal with an event that you'll be attending. And it could be a celebratory event, or like an anniversary or some type of family reunion you might be attending in the future. That can also deal with you're going to get a better job. But with that Page of Swords being the past, that could deal with you weren't really satisfied with the way things are. And then for the present, I got the Ten of Wands, which could deal with travel. So you could be taking a trip. But that can also be a card that means that you're going to be moving from one location to another. But it can also mean that a lot is on your shoulders right now, and you might need to ask somebody for help. So hopefully that helps. Melanated Sun. Oro, I got your question. You said, can you pull a card for the finances overall for 3 years? All right. Hell yeah, Pisces like to steal. And some of them will steal your man or steal your woman. But then they'll act like shit just happened. Like they didn't mean to do it. It just happened like that. All right, so let's see. I got the Tower. So that can mean that money will be touch and go. But the Tower is also a jackpot card. So it could mean that you are going to get a lump sum of money that could liberate you from, debt. It could liberate you from, a high cost of housing or just expensive bills you could be taken care of with that. But just know that, your financial situation could be a little unstable. You could have some slow periods followed by some big booms where you make a lot of money. So just know that you need to have a backup plan and you need to save for an emergency. Have a savings plan. Do like Dave Ramsey says and have like 6 months of savings, like just in an account or somewhere like that. Oh, excuse me. Don't put everything into investments because you might end up losing big. But yeah, just you have to know how to basically move with the times and always have something to fall back on financially. A man would certainly help as well in that situation. Oh, somebody said, anyone catch the name of the mentioned film about the dude from 1700? Oh, it's called Quills. You'll like it, Sarah. I know, because you got that Venus in Scorpio. You'll like Quills. It's not a bad film, but there's just some parts that I find is kind of like nasty and gross. All right. Is that everybody? Did I get everybody? I'm about to get out of here. If I didn't catch you, you could always send me an email and let me know. Let me see. Oh shit. Miss Tiff said that movie 120 Days of Sodom is free on YouTube. Don't click on it. I couldn't watch it. I think my oldest daughter watched it. She has a stronger stomach than I do. But yeah, I can't watch stuff like that. Especially there's a part in the movie where they're eating poo. I can't do it. I can't do it. That's one thing where I can't cross the line with that stuff. Anything where poo's involved, I can't do it. But yeah, so here's my email. If I missed anyone, please send me an email and let me know because I gotta get ready to go. My daughter and her boyfriend have invited me to play a game of Scrabble, so I'm about to get ready and whoop their ass because I'm pretty damn good with Scrabble. So, and then after that, I gotta get back to work with my natal chart readings. So yeah, and if you would like a reading, just go to my website. The link is in the description section. Stay tuned. Consider joining my Patreon because I just started a new astrobiography about one of the biggest hoes in the porn industry. I mean, if you're in the porn industry, you're automatically a hoe. But I mean, she is the hoe of hoes. And she wrote a book. And I'm going to be reading this book and discussing her chart because in this book, she provides her birth time. And when I saw that, I was like, yes. So I got her birth time and everything. So I will be reading her book, Astrobiography, on my Patreon. So you might want to think about joining Patreon so you can get that special access to that book. It's going to be much better than Will Smith's. I already started with chapter 1 and it's so much more interesting than Will Smith's book. So, and they both have Libra South nodes, which is so interesting. But yeah, consider joining my Patreon. I'm going to have more information, more videos, more watch parties, all that stuff. So thanks for joining me for tonight's live stream. I had a ball, and I'll be back with a live stream about the light side of Gemini. That probably will be like 20 minutes long. But anyway, love you guys. I'll see y'all later. Peace.